Hypocrisy.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Law-Splaining the Interwebs. I am your host, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. How's it going tonight, guys? Whoa. How is it going? I am late. As always, apologies. Holy crap. I was laying down, Lady Raggeds. It's been a long day. We haven't gotten to spend much time together. And I was just asleep, man. It was great. It was great, but I was not here. And for that, I am deeply sorry. That said, let's get going. Let's get going. Tonight we're going to be analyzing some of these stories out there about tyranny. Everybody suddenly cares about tyranny. I don't know what happened. I don't know why it all of a sudden matters. Now we have this no kings. We have this no kings thing going on. It's like, oh no, we don't want the government running our lives. We don't want a single person running our lives and none of their policies. That would be insane. But is it really crazy? Or is it just someone different? Is it just someone that they've been so conditioned to not like that suddenly they care about something that they've never cared about ever? Tyranny has not been on the radar for these people. And maybe for some of us, tyranny has been on the radar. Some of us have been out there going, you know what? Maybe the government shouldn't have all this power. Maybe that's not the best thing to do, is to surrender all of our liberty to the government. And we were called crazy. We were called, terrified, paranoid, all of those things. We were called all of the names. We were mocked in every way. But hey, who's keeping score? Certainly not me. Certainly not me. That being said, hi guys. I'll say that again. Hi. We're back. Hopefully this time for good. There should be less interruptions and more regular streams again. And with that, I hope you'll join me. I hope you'll join me in enjoying this world that we live in and this timeline that we're on, because it's something. Slacker. Yes. Very much so. Very much a slacker. Just brief updates on what's going on. Tonight's show is not going to be super long, I don't think. So if you want to, if you want to participate in the show, get your comments in and all that stuff, do it kind of early. I have to be up very early tomorrow. I have to go up to, I have to drive to St. Cloud for court. This is the fabled and famed restraining order case in which a person has taken out a restraining order against me, and I am looking to have that restraining order vacated and nullified, because I don't believe that it's personally meritorious, but that is not up to me to decide. It's up to my lawyer and I to make that case. But that's that's what I'll be doing like all day tomorrow. And unfortunately, at present, I'm not allowed to discuss any of the details. When I'm allowed to discuss the details, I'll let you know how it went and what's up with that. But in the meanwhile, we're going to cover these. Like I said, I got a couple news stories put together. The main struggle here is getting people back to these streams, to letting people know that I'm back, because it's crazy how YouTube distribution works or in many cases doesn't work. And we have to kind of figure that out. And one of the ways I've been doing that is to post a bunch of clips lately. I found a way to generate lots of clips really fast, and it's helped get those things going. So be watching for more clips to come out. YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, actually, which will probably do nothing. I don't know how to use TikTok right, because I don't dance like an anime character, so I don't think it'll ever work. But just trying to get people back into the idea that I am out here, that you can, that you can find me again. What the hell? Yeah. Wow. One of the reels on TikTok has 1 view and one is 4. It's doing great. But that being said, yeah, you can follow me on Instagram as well and get the same thing. But they're mostly out there to let people know what they're missing. What they're missing. Pindar says, I made your fried egg on top of an omelet. Good call. It's great, isn't it? God, I love it. Andy Nicole says, so no more cooking with Kurt. Oh no, there's plenty more Kurt videos to do. I don't know that we'll be doing I don't know that I'll be doing one tonight, but yeah, having cooking with Kurt and other Kurt content is definitely on the menu. Let's see. Family shopping over on Rumble. Speaking of Rumble, says, welcome back, Ringo. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. Good to be back, love. Let's see. Bob Tube F4Y says, no kings, not even Energy King. No, not even him. Testaminot says, can you do an unbreaded where you read the hadith about the men of Al-Zut? I don't know. I don't know where to find, like, how is that an unbreaded? That I'm not sure about. Like, you just want me to read that? Like, you want me to read that section of the hadith? I mean, I guess that's one thing. But I mean, I don't know. It's kind of a weird, like, I don't get the request, but maybe. You haven't heard. No, I have no idea what you're talking about. Those glasses are going to get Nick's house rated again. No. See, the thing about wearing mirrored glasses is you know roughly what's ahead of you at all times. And no, that stuff's all gone. That time in the sun, I suppose, is over, is one way to say it. Let's see. You want the extract from 50 Shades of Gay? We're gonna do some of those. Speaking of silly things like that, and right before we get into the stories, which we'll do in just a moment. Where are they? Oh, here we go. Speaking of that, if you want to engage in the silliness, and this is something I'm going to have to do quite a bit as we get running back into things. We do have an alternative to super chats that's available, and it's supertip.gg/RL, and it should probably put that up on screen. We'll do that. Whoa, not that. We're not stuffing Bev's cannoli tonight. The super tip. Wait, super tip. And so this is a super tip. Oh, that's huge and hideous. I don't like that at all. Maybe we'll do the Scroll across the bottom option. Run this one. There we go. That's cute. That's not as offensive. But you can you can check out supertip.gg/RL. With that, you can go ahead and you can kind of participate in the show in a different way. If you're someone who likes to send in a super chat every now and then, this is a funny way to do it. You can you can either just send it in as text, or you can use an AI voice to kind of read your message to you and to read your message to everybody. And it's a fun way to participate in the show. But that being said, let's start talking about tyranny. Let's start talking about tyranny. Tasmanaut says, I always thought rackets browse/poll. I guess not. No, I I don't sit I don't browse 4chan or anything like that. I've been to it, but it's not something that I've spent any time doing it. It's all very confusing to me. It's all very old internet, and which means it's not user friendly, which I think is like an endearing thing for some people. They're like, oh no, if it's user friendly, then it's not fun. To be based and difficult pilled is to be better. Critical Theory 208 says, did you eat a huge edible, Nick? I'm worried about you hiding your eyes behind your nose. My nose is a huge edible. No. I'm here. I just like I like wearing these shades. They make me happy. Hurricane Von Hurricane says, why are you LARPing as Karmic X? I haven't started crying yet, so I'm not doing that. Come on now. Give me a minute. But I'm really glad that there are people out there who are very concerned about the state of my highness or not highness. Just so you guys are aware, like I don't really prefer cannabis that much because it just puts me unconscious. Like I go to sleep right away. It's I guess something to do with my narcolepsy. But even if I were on that, I have a prescription for it and can be. I just don't really care for it. So, but you'd notice really quickly, if you remember the streams that I used to do, or if you saw the streams I used to do on locals when edibles became legal in Minnesota, I would eat one. It was about 45 minutes, man. And then I was just toast. There was no, that just did not, they don't work for me. Weed knocks me out immediately. So I don't do it very well, unless I want to sleep, right? That being said, let's get into these news stories. Let's see what's going on. This has been a tough thing for me to get back into is like keeping track of what's going on. I had no idea what's been happening out in the world, and like getting myself to care about it again when I've got other stuff going on has been tough. But here we go. Democratic Senator Merkley ends a floor speech protesting Trump at 22 hours and 36 minutes. So we have this guy wearing his Depends, being retarded and talking about tyranny for almost 23 hours in protest of Donald Trump. Okay. Let's take a peek at what's going on here, because I think maybe.
I'm so proud of the 7 million Americans who took to the street in every one of our states at those 2,700 different locations all across the country to say no king.
Look at this guy's clip art graphics that he has on his card. He has a giant card printed up. It's like, ring the alarm bells. Bling, bling, bling. Authoritarianism is here now. Oh, is it? Is authoritarianism here? Yeah, we know. What are we talking about? This guy, his little cute cards. Let's see what else he had an aide print off for him.
They were ringing the alarm bells. They were saying that it is absolutely unacceptable to have an authoritarian government.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Hold on. Jeff Merkley. What the? Hold on. Where is this? Let's see what he has to say here. Here we go. Let's switch over here real quick. This is from USGLC. What is this? The congressional response to the global pandemic. Look who's on here. Of course, Senator Jeff Merkley says, nearly 2 years into the coronavirus pandemic, our healthcare system is strained and our healthcare workers overworked. We need to put more resources towards addressing this crisis in the U.S. while increasing equitable vaccine access globally. These people, Senator Merkley over here, talking about authoritarianism, talking about governmental control and tyranny. Out here, we remember 5 years ago what the fuck you were doing. We remember you taking our businesses. We remember you forcing us to wear masks. We remember you assholes trying to force vaccines into our blood system, stuff that you've never tested, that you have no concept of how it works. New types of vaccines that modify the very structure of our cells. You're going to do that to all of us, force us to do it. And now you're talking about tyranny because what don't you like about Trump? What's he doing? What tyranny is it now, Mr. Merkley?
And that is the largest demonstration in U.S. history. And for each one of those 7 million, they have families, they have friends who knew that they were doing this, who are becoming educated about the challenge that we're facing right now. And we have to recognize that the next election is absolutely critical if we're going to save our republic, because...
Oh, now it's a republic. Now it's a republic. It's been a democracy until now. Now it's a republic. These fucking people, I hate them.
The strategy of an authoritarian is to rig the elections. And the more time they have...
They're just telling themselves over and over and over. The strategy of the authoritarian is to rig the elections. Yeah, we know. We had 4 years of an old retard because of you people rigging the elections. We remember. We're still the same people. We're all still alive, much to your chagrin. And we fucking remember. Yes, that's how we got a bumbling, Alzheimer's laden fool and a cackling witch as his co-host to show up and try and run this country into the fucking ground. And they did it fully supportive of any level of tyranny that Trump had implemented, only making it worse afterwards. Authoritarianism is in the blood of the Democrats because their concept is that everybody, like just a democracy in general, is that it's a collective decision-making process. But we're not a democracy, right? We're a constitutional republic for the reason that collectivist approaches to everything isn't correct. It doesn't function well because what you need is authoritarian government to implement the democratic system that you're trying to have. You have to have government authority to do it. That's why they have no problem with it. They just don't like who's in charge. They don't like the fact that after the rigging of the elections, after the co-opting of the news media, both at the institutional level and at the democratized level of shutting down social media and social media independent journalism, and going after all of these people, both personally, politically, going after their businesses, going after their families. After trying to shut down all of it, we took it back. We took it back, especially because you all gloated about how you won. You gloated about taking the election out of the hands of the people and putting it in the hands of the people who know better. And remember, it's those people who know better. That's the tyranny. That's the actual authoritarian. And they fucking love to know better than you and I. They love it. And they want to sit here and force feed us this hogwash about, oh, we're so scared of Trump.
The more entrenched it becomes. And already here is Trump trying to do a national voter registration file that can be more easily manipulated for the elections next year. Here is President Trump trying to do massive gerrymandering.
Trump can't win the next presidential election. And registering voters is not tyranny. Where did this come from? Where did this come from, that protecting and ensuring a vote? Has somehow protecting the process by which we do democratically participate in our own government, protecting the process by which the people make the decisions, make the decision makers part of that process, that protecting that and ensuring that it functions, that's tyranny, that is somehow bad. Maintaining an appropriate list of registered voters has nothing to do with how people vote or if people vote. The proper purpose of maintaining a list of registered voters is, one, knowing how many votes there should be or could be, and two, knowing when people vote twice. It's really simple. Because if you know that people do vote and don't vote, if you know when they vote, you don't have to know how, but if you know when they vote, then you can know when a second vote comes in with their information or name attached. You can know something's wrong there. You can start tracking it down. You can start prosecuting the people trying to interfere with the elections. But you probably wouldn't want that, would you? Would you, Jeff?
Mandarin in a whole bunch of states in order to offset the balance between Democrats and Republicans that are fairly represented in the House of Representatives. Here is President Trump saying he will do everything possible to stop the use of vote by mail across the country. Because
yes, I think voting by mail is one of the catastrophes of modern voting. First of all, the ability to vote without being around to cast the vote means that anybody can quote unquote vote, even if they don't, and they'll never know. If a ballot's filled out with your name or with your however they want to do it, like, it isn't really tracked this way, but were they to fill out a ballot in your name as an absentee voter, you wouldn't know. You'd have no idea. Because it would happen between two other parties than you, and you're not involved in it. They just co-opt your information. In a way, it's like identity theft. You don't know identity theft is occurring if someone is pretending to be you, like online or whatever, until the fallout starts to hit you, until your credit is impacted, until you start getting bills, until people start looking for the other person for things that they did, but it's got your name. You don't know that it's going on. Someone could be out there impersonating you right now. You'd have no fucking clue. But this is why ensuring the vote is protected matters, because the voter can't be the one to do the monitoring and the enforcement of it. They don't have the resources. They don't have the opportunity. They're not one of the parties who's accepting the votes. If you can vote by mail, all you have to do is stuff a mailbox full of ballots. Not that we had that happen in Minnesota. Don't worry about it. There weren't just people driving around to, maybe marginalized communities and just filling out ballots for people and voting for who they want. And there wasn't video of this or anything like that. A guy saying, hey, I get paid X amount of dollars per ballot, and just going to the voting boxes that are out there. It's unreal. It's unreal. They brazenly co-opt an election in front of our faces. Then they laugh at us and tell us that we're were insane for thinking about that. And then finally, they just go ahead and now they're saying how it happens, but they're just blaming the other people. It's just ridiculous.
We know why. Because vote by mail has such integrity. It can't be manipulated on election day like the precincts can.
What is he talking about? It can't be manipulated on election day. That's an interesting caveat. It could just be manipulated all the rest of the time. This is amazing. Amel C says, I love to see you back, bro. I'm dealing with my own shiz. We all are, man. Prayers to you, and hopefully things sort themselves out and you get things worked out for yourself. Because when you're behind it, when you're behind life, it gets difficult. You gotta try and get ahead of it. Pull the sled. Don't be pulled by it.
Precincts, you can move their location. You can put them where there's no parking. You can understaff them. The machines can break down. You can send intimidation.
Wait, the machines can break down? Oh. you can put the precincts where there's no parking. Come on. Stop. This is what they talk about when they talk about manipulating election. It's like, well, there's not ample parking spaces at the voting booth, so that's Republicans trying to take it over. It's like, are you fucking serious? Like, you guys are being caught on camera stuffing ballots. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? Critical Salt Theory 208 says, who wants to bet that the Democratic strategy is to allow benefits to go unfunded until the EBT community starts burning shit down? Chaos is a mission statement of the Democrat Party. Amel got booted while the super was read. Oh, go back and watch it, man. But it was just, I just wish you well, really. As someone who's been going through it for a fucking while, I only wish you peace on your journey, man.
You can proceed to put out fake information about their location. You can put out information the election was last week when it's really this coming Tuesday.
Hey, y'all, the election already happened. You missed it. Can you, these are the same people. These are the same people who, when the guy put up the thing and was like, text whatever to vote for Hillary Clinton. And they're like, oh, see, that's election interference and manipulation. It's just like, these are the same people, raising a giant stink about that. Again, the ways that they talk about manipulating and controlling election are so obviously not the culprit. There are other issues that they're talking about. If there's no parking, etc., or they move to these obscure locations for voting precincts, that's typically about racism. That's what they're talking about. Usually in those instances, they're talking about, marginalized communities being unable to have access to the voting booths because they put the voting booth out in the country or in a place where like I said, like he said, harder to park or whatever. It's like, well, take the bus then. I don't know. But that's what it's usually about. This isn't about stealing an election. But this is just a guy who has to talk for 24 hours. Like, that's what he set out to do. And so you can imagine most of the shit he says is going to be completely bonkers. Amel C says, appreciate the words, bro. Can you imagine listening to a 68-year-old man for 23 hours? Like, oh my God. You can take some Smith & Wesson Advil for that.
Can't do that with vote by mail. And
you can.
When we have the majority, we must pass the For the People Freedom to Vote bill and lock down the integrity of our elections so we will not worry for a generation about the people having a fair voice in our government by and for the people. I'm proud to be colleagues with all of you in this effort.
That's the... Could you imagine standing in a room full of senators going, I'm proud to call all of you colleagues in this effort. These are some of the worst people on earth. they make my partying look ridiculously amateur. These people are scum. And it's funny because like the behavioral records of these people when they look into them are just atrocious. Yeah, I'm proud to call you all colleagues in this. Why would you do that?
Say hail my nose pope. Welcome back to the trash pit we call Boob Tube. This no king's biz has me mad. I've been saying for years, we need to bring back guillotines to make examples out of these.
Hell yeah. Lampposts are still around. Like there's lots of those. We still, they're taller now, but we still have lampposts, and politicians could still use them like jungle gyms, so to speak. If we were sane, if we were a sane country, these politicians would be insanely afraid of us. They are a little bit. They're a little bit scared, but they would be terrified. We used to treat them so differently. No kings. Remember when no kings meant a literal revolution? No kings meant we fought a war for our independence. Now no kings means a bunch of people standing in a fall day on the side of the road with like a cardboard sign that says, no kings, also Trump's hair is bad, or whatever.
Thank you very much, and I yield the floor.
Yay, you did it. I'm so proud of him. So after more than 22 hours, Democratic Senator Jeff Merkley on Wednesday ended his marathon floor speech, warning about the dangers of authoritarianism. He says the Trump administration poses what is happening over here. Uh-oh.
Research. The Battle of Athens. TN, if you want to know about election fraud and how far some have gone to stop it.
Yeah, and the Battle of Athens, I've looked into it before. It might merit a show. So I don't know. We have a rather storied history in the United States around these issues, and we have a lot of checks and balances that are designed to prevent them. Interestingly, or not interestingly, I don't know. Maybe ironically, maybe not. All of this is the things that they actually target and chip away at are the things that safeguard us against tyranny and give them opportunities to manipulate and control, everything from the information to the actual vote.
Corrupt fuck nugget politicians who want to constantly step on our rights, and apparently the only people that actually listen are these losers. 9. Stop stealing my ideas and get back in the oven. For some reason, it cut off my second message. Damn you, super tips.
Damn you, super tips.
Cute, you think wearing glasses BC Kurt does will make you look as cool as him. Also criticized Toe for replaying EPs W April, but still have her name and likeness. Typical hypocrite.
Still have her name and likeness. I didn't actually realize she was still activated on the super tips thing, but yeah, I do have it on there, I suppose. Now that I know about it, I'll probably take it off. So if you want to use it, get it done now, because it'll go away. But people should leave her alone. Like, oh my God, give the woman a break. It's been a fucking minute. It's been a minute. Well, one of the things I was gonna do, side note, just sidebar, just for a second, just a couple days ago was the 2-year anniversary of my stand-up set. Incidentally, that was 2 years ago where I met April and Aaron for the first time. And I've been thinking about going through and watching that stand-up set. I don't remember a ton of it. I remember writing some jokes for it, but by the time I did the set, I was on several substances, and my memory of it's really foggy. So I thought it'd be fun to go back. I'll probably do this on a members only show for locals and YouTube, to go back and watch the stand-up set sober, which will be, God, really embarrassing, I think. But yeah, I'm thinking about doing that because it should be fun. Here we go. Amel C says, appreciate the words, bro. Hey, you're welcome. You're welcome. Keep, like I said, keep slogging through it. You'll get through to the other side. You just have to sometimes keep walking. It's a long fucking tunnel. It's a long tunnel. Beat Soup says, I can't believe it's only been 2 years. You and me both. It feels really, really fucking long. Better than Vito's stand up? Oh no. God, that's gotta be bad. Yeah. I wouldn't want to. I didn't know Vito could stand up. I thought he was in a rascal by now, forever. Okay, here, back to this. He ended his speech at 5 p.m. It lasted 22 hours and 36 minutes, falling short of fellow Democratic Senator Cory Booker's record of 25 hours and 5 minutes earlier this year. Wouldn't it have been funny if Cory Booker's record was just like 20 minutes longer than this guy's? 22 minutes exactly. But he did beat the record for longest floor speech given by a senator from Oregon. In 1953, independent Senator Wayne Morse set that record at 22 hours and 26 minutes. I'm more interested in what this guy talked about for fucking 23 hours in 1953. Should we look that up? Like, what is he talking about? He received applause from those in the chamber, including a number of Democrats who were seated in the chamber. Earlier, Merkley said he was on the verge of falling over as he spoke, approaching his 22nd hour. Look at him. Oh my God. The 68-year-old Merkley was clearly beginning to fatigue. Wednesday afternoon, at times he gripped chairs and desks for support or paced slightly back and forth, but he has remained standing since his speech began at 6:24 p.m. And he's been speaking nonstop, except for intermissions when Democrat senators who came to the floor asked him questions. He said in a news conference after he concluded that he decided to speak in the middle of the week after the vibe had been generated by the No Kings rallies over the weekend. How have the No Kings rallies been for you guys? How has that been? So Lady Raggets and I went to the Twin Cities on the day that the No Kings rally started. I had no idea. We had other things to do. It was a date day for us. And so we get to the Twin Cities and we're driving into Minneapolis, and we just see all these people on like the side of the road, and they weren't homeless. They were just, hired by someone, because doesn't this feel just fucking painted on? The No Kings rallies, that is. Doesn't it feel like it's just painted? Like, it's what I mean by painted on. I mean, it's just on the surface. It's like a bunch of, it's astroturfed. People have been paid to be out holding these pathetic signs. And I heard in some places, it's really heavy. There's a bunch of people. There's thousands of people. I mean, what I saw was sparse. It was sparse at best. They weren't stopping traffic. Thank God, by the way, because I might have been in prison for running somebody over. But they weren't stopping traffic. They didn't have the numbers to do anything like that. They were just standing on these bridge overpasses with some, signs and whatnot. And Lady Rag is like, No Kings, what are they talking about? I'm like, I have no idea. I would assume it has something to do with someone not liking Trump. And of course, that's what it was. That's what it is. But it doesn't feel organic to me. From what I've seen, it looked very, very astroturf. But so they created the vibe. And this is how it goes, right? Like, well, we got the vibe created. We got that thing going, right? Now I'm going to give a speech. It's like coordinated. I didn't want the momentum of that to die down, he said. I felt so it was so important at this moment. of time to amplify the extraordinary moment we are in of an aggressive authoritarian takeover of our republic. Can you believe that that he would utter that sentence? I felt it was so important at this moment of time to amplify the extraordinary moment we are in of an aggressive authoritarian takeover of our republic. Where?
I thought the No Kings rallies were days for the city to suddenly complete all their road work. So many new speed bumps. Side note, now I have to find a car wash that cleans under my car.
Dude, one of the car washes here in town does that. They have the undercarriage blast, and it's like, oh yeah, that's good. You can get all the sluice juice out of there after you run over a couple protesters. But this concept that there's an authoritarian takeover of our republic, I mean, he's not wrong. He's just wrong about where it's coming from and what's been happening. The authoritarian takeover of our republic has been going on for a long fucking time. And it started back when we made popularly elected senators. That's where it began. Where it is now is just so far progressed down the road that most of our government operates, one, without any of us caring or noticing, and two, it conversely and simultaneously has spidered its way into every aspect of our daily lives. When you have a government shutdown, right? We have a government shutdown. You notice who isn't who's still working? All the government employees are still working, but you still can't figure out why. You hear that like non-essential ones are let go or furloughed or whatever. Sure, but everybody's fucking essential. And the government still functions the exact same way. It's so deeply entrenched into how we do everything that it can't be unwoven from reality. That is the authoritarian takeover. The authoritarian takeover, we're so far down this road that it's hard to imagine even talking about it in any real capacity. When you buy property, you have to pay the government for permission to stay on it. When you buy a car, you have to pay the government for permission to drive it. The government determines what you can buy and sell at the store. The government determines what business you can run and not run. The government determines how you have to prepare your meals. In fact, like if you're your own restaurant, an independent restaurant, you have to get your depending on what state you're in, part of your business license running a culinary institution is to force you to get the nutritional value of the dishes that you make. You have to get the nutritional value of it so it can be properly displayed in your restaurant, which means they get to have authority over your ability to prepare food and sell it. The equipment that you use must be inspected and approved by the government. Everything we do has a government fucking stamp on it. How much independence do you think you have? See if you can go through a day without involving yourself with your government in some way or another. It's really difficult. And if you think you can, right then is when, that's when they come and hit you the hardest. Oh, wait, we got another one of these.
Hi, Shades, Nick. Liking the new Villian arc you have going. To answer your question, I haven't seen a single nice No Kings protest in Nashville yet, but I will be in and out of there over the holiday.
Well, come back and report, Kaufman. Let us know if you run into anything, what it's like. Who knows? I'll see if there's a No Kings protest up in St. Cloud tomorrow. Starch Manning So Steve Bannon today said they have a plan to get Trump into a third term. Don't believe in the Constitution. MAGA equals traitor, racist, dumb traitors. There isn't a third term for Trump. There isn't. That's not a thing. And I don't know. Like I'm not in Steve Bannon's head, and I don't really give a shit what he says, but I have a feeling he's gaslighting, trolling, forcing this frenzy, because the frenzy and fervor against Trump is how the Trump administration justifies what they're doing in a lot of ways. You love it or hate it, it's kind of brilliant. Let's see. Here we go. Back to here. For the majority of the speech, Merkley stood next to a sign that says, "Ring the alarm bells. Authoritarianism is here now." His speech has been focused on warning against authoritarianism in the Trump administration. And that's the thing, right? It's this part of it. It's this in the Trump administration. They don't give a shit about this word except that as it relates to Trump. If we do not confront tyranny in its first year, yeah, you're right. Tyranny just got here. It just got here now. This is the first time. I don't know. It's the first time. And if we do not find a way to have a strong rebuttal in the next election, then it becomes entrenched. That's what we said when Biden got elected. And then Trump came back. You guys brought him back. Good work. Good work, Democrats. And it is our responsibility, our oath to the Constitution, to not let that happen. Sure it is. Suddenly they respect their oaths. Suddenly they care about tyranny. Suddenly they care about the Constitution. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer followed Merkley and applauded his efforts. Immediately after Schumer's brief remarks, Republican Whip John Barrasso took the floor to slam Merkley for the effort. I come to the Senate floor today to ask a simple question. What did Democrats actually accomplish? Nothing. They accomplished nothing. Obviously, it was just, it was all performative. They were just putting a guy on display to do this thing. It would generate news. It would cause a buzz. What did they accomplish? A guy talked for 24 hours. Twitch streamers do it all the time. It's not that impressive. This is from Anonymous. Says, in my area, it looked like no kin. These people don't have families. Also, no city job, no life, and some retirees waiting for the buffet to open. I think that's the AstroTurf thing. I wonder how many people holding signs got like a $20, $50 bill, in an envelope handed to them. Hey, go stand over here all day. Stand in a group. Meet other homeless people or whatever. And I was talking about this on Camelot show with him a little bit. There seems to be not a trend, but a commonality in here that it's middle-aged, lots of middle-aged white people at the protests. And I don't think that's an accident. And it just doesn't feel organic at all. Let's see. What do we got? People who wear shades indoors need to be monitored. Yes. The government should be monitoring more people. That's what we're talking about. The government is still closed. Capitol police officers and Senate support staffers were here for the entire 22 hours, are still not getting paid. And this is, of course, the context in which all of this happens. Oh, sorry. We can pull this back up. The context in which all of this is going on is this government shutdown. Do you guys notice? Because I don't notice. And I know that there are some federal employees, probably even in this audience, who might actually have to really deal with this for a little bit. And I know it's cold comfort to know that you'll get your back pay and all that stuff typically. But that doesn't take care of you now when you need your paychecks. And it really is complete shite. Complete shite that these fucking losers will be up there while the government's shut down, pontificating, but you guys, are not able to, like you might have to miss a few bills this month, etc., and until things come back to normal. That isn't how it should be. Like, you shouldn't be punished because they can't figure out their budget or they can't agree on some policy issue. So they withhold money from the people who make the government run. So I'm not insensitive to it. It's not like individually, I want all of you guys to get paid and to be at work. Work is fulfilling and necessary, I think, for people. But that being said, collectively, the government can fuck right off for all I care. So Senate floor staff was required to stay overnight to run the floor. Those individuals are not currently being paid during the government shutdown. The senator said he didn't eat, drink water, or take a bathroom break during the speech. It is about dehydration, he said, telling reporters he had his last bite of food and drink on Monday morning. No! What are you doing? What message is he sending? Like this guy said, what did he accomplish? What's the purpose of this? His purpose is to talk about tyranny. He's part of the group of people that is preventing the government from functioning, preventing these people from being paid, preventing workers from working. Because of what? What are we fighting over? I wasn't sure it was going to work out, he said. And I said, I hope I'm not fasting for no reason. I love to eat. Okay. The dehydration works pretty well, he added, explaining that at one point he felt lightheaded on the floor. It's a show. It's a show. It's a spectacle. The dehydration works well. I mean, this is what he's saying. No matter what he's saying, this is what he's saying. The dehydration works well. It gets the attention, right? Like, I'm light on my feet. I'm feeling faint. The shutdown entered its 22nd day on Wednesday with no movement toward a deal that would fund the government. And yet it's still going. God, don't you wish that your life worked this way? Like, well, no deal to make those payments. Sorry. Look, I want to make them, but there's no deal. The Senate could vote for the 12th time on the short-term clean funding bill that was passed by the House, but no votes can be called as long as Mark Lee holds the floor. So the clean funding bill is just basically an extension of things as they are. All 11 previous votes on the continuing resolution have failed. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says Trump shouldn't leave on his Asia trip on Friday without first negotiating with Democrats on funding. But Trump said he won't meet with Democrat leadership until the government is reopened. So here we have these people pontificating and lecturing us about tyranny, talking about how Trump, they can't stop. Trump. Authoritarianism, government control, a government overreach. It's all baked into everything they breathe in and out of their fucking mouths every other day. They love government control. They love having a say in everything that you do. And yet here they are. Well, we can't do it. The thing is, Trump's authoritarian tyranny is threatening the one thing that you cannot threaten in government. And that is congressional authority. They're the authoritarians. How fucking dare you? They're the bigger lion. They're the lion with the empty balls, right? Like you sometimes go to the zoo or whatever and you see the lions, the male lions, and there's like the one who has like big giant balls, and then the other one has little tiny, because the one has just gotten done fucking everybody, right? In the pride or whatever. And the one with the big balls is the one with the blue balls. That's Congress right now feels like that. Because Trump came in, he's like, I have a very nice mane. It's wonderful. Big balls. They're about to be smaller. And he just goes to town. You can't do that to Congress. Congress wants to do the fucking. Congress hates all of us. They want to take our stuff. They want to limit what we can do. They want to control our lives. And you can't have anybody come in and threaten that. It has nothing to do with us. Notice that the authoritarianism that they're worried about is the thing that cripples the Senate and the House's ability to conduct itself as a government, that's as a functioning entity of our government. That's what they're mad about. They're not mad about anything involving authoritarianism in regards to us. It's them that they're trying to protect. What do you think about Bannon's Trump third term statement? I'll pull it up. I'll pull it up. I think he's got y'all. Trump, holy shit. Let's read it from the most reliable source on this type of stuff. The Daily Beast. Because I think we'll get the least biased take out of them. Steve Bannon reveals there's a plan for a third Trump term. R.I.P. the Constitution. Thank you, Catherine Burris. I wonder what she looks like. This person is worried about the tyranny of Donald Trump's third term. Holy shit. You look like a third term pregnancy. Wow. God. It's like a walnut shoved into the frosting on top of a cupcake. All right, so this is a person. They're very concerned. Holy shit. Whoa. All right. Former White House chief strategist Steve Bannon openly shared that there are plans to help President Donald Trump circumvent the 22nd Amendment and secure a third presidential term. In an interview with The Economist, Bannon told the magazine's editors, he's going to get a third term. Trump 28. Trump is going to be president in 2028. Is what they're saying. So people just ought to get accommodated with that. I don't know what he means by this. But again, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's read the article, then we'll talk about this idea of a third term Trump. Watch the video. It's better. Oh, there's a video. Is it on the Economist website? Maybe. You value my privacy. That's nice. Is this supposed to be? Okay, hold on. This is a 40-minute video. All right, here's this is just 13 minutes. We won't you guys want to watch this? No, not. Hold on one second. We've almost got this. Here we go. Let's just go ahead and let's see what we have to say here.
Welcome to The Insider.
I'm honored to be part of one of the first ones I guess you're doing early on.
Absolutely.
Last time I tangled with you was the 175th.
Zanny Minton Beddoes, editor-in-chief of The Economist. So we have a interview going on about the American government, and of course they put a fucking English woman on there. Look at how much this looks like an English dude who's gone hippie, right? Like he took up surfing, went to Paris one time, or went to Nice one time. Here we go. Tech guy says, long ago, a teacher told us about a filibuster. The congressman ran out of things to say, so he read articles out of a Playboy. Believed it back then. Yeah, I would. Playboy gets a bad rap. Well, I mean, there's a whole bunch of controversy around it now and the woke shit and everything, whatever. Ignoring all that, Playboy used to be a serious publication. It just also had titties in it because it was a men's magazine. And it realized, like Hugh Hefner realized that you could have serious journalism, you could have serious literary credential going into the writing in this magazine, this publication. But also you could put naked women in there. And guys did this amazing thing. Like it shocked everybody. They liked it. They're like, hey, this is great. Like I can read this article, like a deep dive into whatever subject it is. And then, right next to that is a naked supermodel. And suddenly I'm more interested in the article. Or England can bring us a mannish looking woman. Critical Salt Theory says, even Lenin said that no society is more than 3 meals away from revolution. And we know how much the Democrats love communist principles. I think people just in general have they overlook just how close everything is to catastrophe. I mean, we're always on the precipice. Everything's interwoven together. Everything relies on everything else, and everything relies on everyone doing the thing that they're supposed to do. The moment that changes is the moment crisis occurs, and that's that's from a personal level to an interpersonal level, and that scales all the way up to societal societies and even globally. Everything's on a knife edge at all times. And I said this before getting arrested, but it's still true after. You're a couple bad days away from something you never expected, from the government intervening in your life in a very, very authoritarian way. I mean, they're not kind about it. Stella AI VTuber says governments are more important than Hugh Hefner before rigor mortis. Well, I don't know if they are. It's amazing how government asserts its importance and authority upon us at all times. But if you notice, the people who have sculpted the world typically didn't do it through government.
Indeed, you remember well.
In New York City, I think we kicked it off.
That's right, but we're not going to tangle this time. Because this time, one of the things we want to do with the show is that we want to have conversations with people who disagree with or have a different worldview than we do.
Know thy enemy.
Exactly. But you definitely have a very different worldview. You're a populist nationalist. We're classical liberals. But we really think it's important to understand your world.
I wonder how classically liberal they are. I mean, if they're classical liberal, then they would, I would probably agree with them generally. And I'm not typically a nationalist. Like, I get where nationalism becomes popular, and I get when nationalism and populism overlap. You have governmental revolution. I think Trump is governmentally revolutionary. I think he's changed the way American politics will have worked and have looked, and that'll last forever. He's exposed so much of this machine that had built itself up within our very government system. He put all that into the light. For that, one, they'll never forgive him, but two, they'll never recover from that. They'll have to rebuild the machine. They will. It may take a century again for them to do it. But the thing is, when crisis starts to hit home, when the crisis starts to hit the everyman, when we enter recessions and depressions, when people are having trouble paying for groceries, when people's kids go to war, that's when populism comes in and nationalism comes in, and it's like, wait, we have to shore up our own borders. We have to ensure our own success and prosperity, and maybe we should stop giving everything away to everybody else. And again, these concepts play all the way down the individual level in your own life. When you start going through crisis, you pull back from your generosity, and you pull back from your even your interaction with other people. People go inside, so to speak. You turtle in, make sure yours is safe first. And that's all America's doing. We're just on a reset. We're on a reset, and we're doing so with people going, hey, we need jobs and income and food. And those are getting harder and harder to come by, and things are scary. And that's overlapping with a whole different thing. We have a tech revolution going on. We have AI being a supplemental tool in every field that you can possibly imagine. It's permeating and pervading everything. First of all, they're just slapping AI on everything, like the label. It's like, look, we have AI. It's like, no, that's not AI. Whatever. It doesn't matter, because the AI revolution is here, and it can be it's a little bit terrifying for people, especially those who don't understand it. They don't know how it works. They haven't played with it or messed with it because they are worried about it. They're worried about it taking a job or replacing some skill that they have. They're not really understanding that it's a supplemental tool for a lot of people, and that for being artificial intelligence, it's pretty fucking stupid a lot of times. But it's going to get smarter, and it's going to get better. And so that societal tech revolution is overlapping with economic terror, as people don't know how to pay for their groceries because their grocery bill has doubled in the past couple years. They don't really know what to do. So all of this to say, like, this is all happening in a reset, but they're acting like this will be the way forever. Populism doesn't stay. Populism is a check on unbridled government overreach. It is the reins. It's the people saying, hey, because it's enough of the people to elect someone outside of the system to change the system in some way. Tech guy says, who put Peter O'Toole in a wig? Okay, here we go. Back to this. Sorry.
View better. I want to start by really getting you to paint a picture for me of what the America that you want to create is. I mean, you are now partway through the MAGA revolution. Let's assume that you're successful. Just paint a picture for me of what America looks like when you're successful.
By the way, I want to address something that I've heard a lot lately. Kaufman says, oh, Stella says impotent, not important. Oh, she did. That's correct. Stella AI VTuber says governments are more impotent than Hugh Hefner before rigor mortis. That makes way more sense. You know, when the words that you use are correctly relayed to my brain, your message makes more sense. I was like, I'm missing the joke. No, that's no, Hugh wasn't ever impotent. What are you talking about? Shit, where was I? Fuck. I had a point going on there. We'll figure it out. Hold on, let me go back.
In America, where the little guy, the person that the system is based upon, the working class and middle class in our country, sharing the prosperity, we actually have returned to capitalism, because we don't have capitalism today as much as you guys hawk it. This is corporatism. So we have to break that. We have to give the little.
He's 100% right. We don't have capitalism. We have corporatism, and there's there's a fine line in advocating against corporate entities, but also like making sure that you're not just giving up that corporate control to government, because government is there to take it. The government is there to implement, communism, to implement these types of either communism or fascism, and to enmesh themselves in the economic output of the citizenry, and to reap the economic rewards that should go to the citizens. Government's right there waiting for it to happen. That being said, this is all just, in my opinion, this is all just a little bit premature, because one thing that is amazing about, we can slap an AI label on this stream or whatever. One thing that's amazing about it is we are democratizing everything. Everything is going back to the people, and the powerful institutions that have run this country for a long time through corporatism are losing. They're losing out. because now, like I've talked about before, in regards to media, an asshole lawyer in the middle of nowhere, Minnesota, can gain notoriety and influence in various aspects of media just by turning on a camera and hitting broadcast. That's insane. That's insane that there are news stories. Look at what Tim Pool came out of, and what he's built. This is the democratization of information. This is the ability to communicate with the entire world in a click. And they're terrified because these people want to run messaging on what classical liberalism looks like. But maybe you listen to Sargon of Akkad instead. Maybe you listen to him talk about classic liberalism. Maybe you listen to a different historian tell you about the rise and fall of corporate America. Maybe you listen to someone else instead of these people who, look, well, we did it right. We got our institutions. We demand the control of information. Sorry, you don't get it anymore. We're done with it.
Little guy, an opportunity to thrive, since the whole system rests upon him. We're at political war. I say that every day.
So what's the end point of a war?
The end point is we are in charge. We control the institutions. We control the political process. We actually have reclaimed this country, turned it around, put citizens first, and created a entrepreneurial capitalism paradise for average people in this country to happen to be citizens. And we're not going to back off 1 inch until we get it. And guess what? We're winning.
You use the word war a lot. If you really think there is a risk of civil war and the situation is as...
He's not talking about a civil war. What are you talking? If you really think there's a risk of civil war, there's always a risk of civil war. But two, we're in a civil Cold War. We have been for a while. But that's not what he's referring to here. It's a political war. It's a war for the heart and soul of the republic. It's a war for how things work. And this is baffling to me that they get stuck on stuff like this. It's like, well, if we're worried about civil war, stop it. He's talking about a war for how government is manifesting the will of the people, the political will, because it's not been manifesting the political will of the people. It's been manifesting the political will of the Congress, and Congress is not doing what the people want. This is why populism comes up throughout history. This is why a government intervenes in itself or on itself through the will of the people. The political will comes in to say, tired of the shit you've been putting us through. And that's what's happening with Trump.
Bad as you are saying, don't you have a responsibility as someone who sees this and who's a student of history and has seen what has happened in history to calm things down rather than
Not to calm things down at all, to warn people. Do you think if we calm things down, they're going to stop? What planet are you living on? This is my problem with this whole concept of liberal debate. We're in a revolutionary time, both technologically, geopolitically, right? Financially. You're talking, in this magazine, you tell me we're heading to financial Armageddon. There's no other way you can read this. Hang on. If you don't warn people about it and say, we must go to the ramparts, because if you're just passing.
Hold on. DJI82 says Nick looks like a gay homeless man who cleaned up as best he could for his drug kingpin audition. Lol. How did you know? That's the prompt I put in the AI. Here you go. Oh no, this is not good. This is not how you're supposed to use this. What are you doing?
Nick, genuinely, my fiance would like for you to dick her down. How do we get in touch?
I think you just did. I'm not in that business. What are you talking about? I don't know where you got your information.
And docile and just flick the channel and watch the National Football League and go to Taylor Swift.
You shut your fucking mouth, Bannon. You shut your mouth right now. Taylor Swift is an angel. How dare you? Turns out that anonymous donation was Travis Kelce. Art the Clown says, concisely, please explain the Pax Romana. No. No, but what I will say here is that Bannon is trying to do something here. He's trying to get these people to see where we are. He's like, you don't get it. And sometimes this is what you need to do. Like sometimes, you're talking to someone or a group of people, or when you're negotiating something out as a lawyer, however you're doing anything that involves someone else. Sometimes you just have to slap it down on the table and be like, you don't fucking get it. You're talking about something completely different. This guy is talking about, Bannon's over here. He's like, no, you're missing it. We are going to bring back how government functions. We're going to bring it back to the people because that's what they're demanding. They didn't get it in Biden. They don't find it in the Democrat Party right now. Right now, they find it in the Republican Party, insofar as Trump is concerned, and the MAGA revolution. MAGA and Republican are not the same thing. The MAGA, I guess, group is entrenched primarily in the Republican Party, but they, if they had political capital and power, they would probably be independent of the Republicans. It's just impossible to get away from Republican and Democrat at the current point in U.S. government. Oh, I remembered what I was going to say earlier, and this is just a message to people because I've noticed this, and I got sidetracked. I'm sorry. When you call Trump supporters or people who are in this MAGA movement, when you call them MAGAs, you're dehumanizing them. You're making your political enemy into a billboard. You're making them into a cardboard cutout of a human that you don't have to respect anymore. And when you do that, you're engaging in a very, very dangerous game because you're not in the ivory tower. You are not insulated from that community or any community. When you dehumanize your opponent, one, you dismiss their ideas, you dismiss their power, and you dismiss their tenacity. And two, you expose yourself to risk that you shouldn't be exposing yourself to. And you let that dehumanized entity in on your fears and your weaknesses. You should probably not do that. One, it's not good peopling. That's not good peopling at all. But two, it's bad political strategy to dehumanize your opponents in the long run. Because when you dehumanize them, what they do becomes justified when it comes back on you.
Concerts, it's over. You need to rally people to say no. You represent, from time immemorial, from every patriot's grave back to the beginning, the basic working man and woman that has always saved this country in moments of crisis, in the Revolution, in the Civil War, in the Great Depression.
I mean, let's not oversell it, though, Steve Bannon. We're waxing a little like philosophical here. Yeah, kind of. But the people who organized the revolution weren't the average working man. They were the aristocracy of here. They were the aristocracy separated from England, but they were still the upper crust, the upper class. They still had wealth, power, and land beyond your average quote unquote working class. Let's not really pretend that there was a working class in 1790, pre-industrialization. We're talking about it entirely different thing. I mean, I know what he's trying to do. He's like the everyman, blah, blah, blah. But it wasn't the everyman sparking the revolution. The everyman may have been carrying the muskets, but the revolution was sparked by wealthy importers mostly, and lots of people who were importing illegally. They were pirates and smugglers. But good Lord.
World War II, it's always come back to the little guy. This is the fourth turning. The strength of the populist nationalist MAGA movement in this country is we're anti-fragile. We're resilient. You can give us your best shot. You can put us in prison. You can take our credit cards away. You can debank us. You can deplatform us. You can have all the tech stuff that happened.
This, I think, is really telling. You can have all this. You can do all this to us. We're resilient. And that's when you start to go, wait a minute. One of the problems with the debanking thing is like, you're the fucking government. Just ensure that everybody has access to the money system and tell banks that they can't shut people down without like a list of reasons that is approved and you know, like non-payment or severe overdraws and stuff like that, I guess. But take away the ability to debank someone based on their political beliefs or say, you know, we'll just go ahead and fucking nationalize your bank. We'll liquidate it and sell it to another institution. Right? Like if you're going to do that, if you want to get involved in politics will get involved in your bank. They've had the ability to do this. The banks did this to Trump openly, the debanking. And the debanking has been going on for quite some time. When Bannon's here saying, you can do this to us, you can do this to us, we're resilient, you almost wonder how much of it has been allowed, specifically allowed to happen so that they can improve, or not improve, but increase their messaging. Hey, what's up, Camelot? How you doing? Barb Rogers, Ms. Solar Terror, sent a gifted membership. Thank you so much, Barb Rogers. Nice to see you. Very happy to have you around.
Can't be beaten if we don't quit. And if that takes hot rhetoric, you ain't seen nothing yet, because we're now getting into the middle of this fight, and we're never gonna kowtow to these people. We're never gonna get on our knees to these people. We're never gonna apologize. We're never gonna say we're sorry. All we care about is victory begets victory begets victory, and we know that we're ascendant and they're in decline.
So, Steve, when you look,
and he's right. He's right. This is the danger. This is actually the danger of populism, is that with these cascading victories over and over and over, and with the political will seeming to become more and more prevalent and entrenched, what you have is this risk that other things sneak in with it, that bad ideas come with good ideas. And they always do, right? Good ideas always bring bad ideas along, like a little brother on a leash or whatever. Like, come on. And that's the actual danger of populism. And that's why populism tends to pull back, though, is when that starts to happen, people start to notice. Jordan Patterson, 5 gifted memberships from Jordan. Thank you, Jordan Patterson. I really appreciate it. And Kaufman, welcome to super lawyer status. Thank you for joining and sending 5 gift memberships as well. Very much appreciated. Starch Manning, Bannon got Trump elected the first time with the pain of the little guy, but ultimately authoritarian with Christian nationalist element /Miller/Vaught. Anyone who didn't see Trump as an authoritarian wasn't paying attention. Like, Trump was an authoritarian from jump. He always was. The thing is, Americans started to want a little authoritarianism because but in certain ways, right? They want their borders secure. They're willing to sacrifice some of their autonomy. They're willing to sacrifice some things to make sure someone doesn't come across the border and blow up a school. That's pretty important. Because the scariest thing, right, is sending your children to school and having the school blow up or having someone shoot it up. The scariest thing is taking your family to the mall and being gunned down. That's the threat that looms at our borders, right? Obviously the massive social drain that is, illegal immigration from Mexico specifically is a huge issue. It is, but that's a solvable issue. The scary thing, the thing that terrifies people is not the Mexican workers going over the border. That they just hate their tax dollars being spent on non-citizens and having to police all this stuff. The scary thing is what comes with those people, the really bad people who do sneak across the border with nefarious intent and motives. That's what terrifies people. That's what keeps people awake. If you live in a border town, it's the idea that your kid will be abducted and sold into child slavery. by some of these people. That's the shit. That's the shit that people are terrified of, and that's where they want the government to intervene. They also want the government to like come in and be like, hey, why does cereal cost so much? Like, we need to look into this. Is it, are the cereal robber barons like taking over? Like, why is cereal $7 a box now? Like, why does soda cost $13 for a fucking 12 pack? People are wondering shit like that. You know, how come I can go to Walmart and get a 85-inch $100, but like I buy a couple 24 packs of soda, I'm spending $600. It's crazy. Jordan Patterson says, I'm up with my 1-month-old, so I'm catching the live. Finally, you fig. Oh, hey, congrats, man. Enjoy that every 2-hour wake up. It's amazing. It's awesome.
At history, and you map the lessons of history onto the situation today, the crisis we're in today. Is it your belief that the only way through this crisis is through some sort of conflagration? And if so, do you think your role is to...
He's British, so I'll translate. Do we have to burn it all fucking down, or is there some other way out of it? Look at how big Bannon is compared to like this wafy, mannish looking woman. And this guy, like this guy almost looks big. And then you see Bannon's like, eat.
Accelerate that to bring it out so that it happens fast and you come out on the other side better and faster, or is it to stop? Is it to stop the crisis? Is it a belief that actually, you know what, we can work to stop the crisis and actually change is better brought about through evolution rather than revolution?
This was not evolution. I think that to avoid actual civil conflict, which I think you're seeing right now, the beginning of the harbinger of it.
He's talking, this guy's not Bannon, the other guy's talking about evolution versus revolution. I'm very clever, right? Like he's trying to get to this point. Bannon's like, it's not evolution. That's because nationalism is a return. It's a return to the past. It's again, the fucking wagon is being pulled off and it's grabbing the reins and getting the Clydesdales to stop running. You pull as hard as you can on the reins, and sometimes you pull in the wrong direction, etc. But the reality is somebody needs to grab the fucking reins because things are starting to run out of control and the cart will crash. And this Bannon's like, no, it's not evolution. We're going back. We need to go back. You got to go back. We got to go.
If you want to stop that, you have to bind together tighter. We, as a populist nationalist movement, as a MAGA movement, we need to do like the redistricting fights. We need to get, this is why I was down in Texas, we need to get the House in a situation that is permanently defendable by the MAGA movement, right? So it's a blocking mechanism. And take that, like I said.
This guy, he's like, I can't, I don't believe in it. Every political entity wants to build up and entrench itself permanently in a permanently defensible position, right? Because they necessarily live and breathe power. They have to have it. I love it. They're acting fucking surprised on this. It is power. It requires power to accomplish its goals. But they act like, oh God, I can't believe a political entity would want to entrench itself in the government and gain power to accomplish its ends. Oh, okay.
You move a maximalist strategy with a sense of urgency, and you seize the institutions. And that's what we're doing right
Steve,
now.
I don't see how that is a recipe for diffusing this crisis. I think that what happens is when people feel shut out of power and interest.
I'm sorry I'm pausing this so much. Who said they want to diffuse the crisis? Faulty premise. There's no desire to diffuse the crisis. They may want to have the crisis not impact their base so much, but they might also want the crisis to impact their base because they may need to motivate the base into fucking action. And how do you do that if everybody's employed and happy?
interest groups cannot get representation and cannot get an input into the way that policy is made, that's precisely when you end up with civil war.
I disagree.
Because there is
I think
no
you'll see,
alternative.
because I think the mechanism will be that people in the Democratic Party.
That's just insane. That's precisely how you end up with civil war. What do you fucking know about it? First of all, ours is cooler than yours. Second of all, that's not how you end up in civil war, because people have been underrepresented or unrepresented throughout government and have had no access to the political system over and over and over again. This isn't new. This isn't strange. It's like, oh, no, that's not how you get to civil war. How you get to civil war is when the two sides are so far divided that there is no reconciliation. There is no agreement. We're not there. We're not there. We may get there, but we're not. And one of the reasons we're not there, I think, is because at the end of the day, we still like being American a little bit. Not enough. We don't like being American enough. And to be fair, our government and our politicians have not been giving us good reasons to like being American. I used to love American symbolism and iconography. I love the bald eagles. I love, I love the flag. I loved all these things. And now I'm like, do I really like those anymore? I'm not quite sure. Our national pride is eroding, but it's been intentionally eroded by these people. Like they put him in an office, Obama, whose wife, husband, said the first time they were proud of their country, the first time they had national pride was when they elected Obama president. The first time in her entire life she had pride in the nation was then. These are the type of people that we're having in power. This is what it makes it hard to be a proud American anymore. And why, like that Lee Greenwood song or whatever, wouldn't proud to be an American, like that, you're not going to get that song. That's not going to be around. That type of shit isn't being made. Our culture isn't American anymore. Now the MAGA revolution is trying to take it back in some ways. But is there a path back to that? That there is a healthy level of jingoism that is needed for a country to persist. Because if you have no pride in the country that you have, what is your incentive to protect it and preserve it? Right?
Will adjust and change, say, hey, we actually have to start winning elections, and we have to have a message that can resonate with many Americans, that we can start getting back control of the House of Representatives. We can take.
Bannon looks like he's just perpetually been on a motorcycle. It's like his hair is just breezed back. This guy is always going 87 miles an hour.
Take the Senate, and most importantly, we can take the presidency. I think you will see I think that you'll force the Civil War to be inside of those guys, and they'll say, these radicals are saying violence, and we have to seize the institutions, seize them, and then purge them. We seize the institution, purge them, and that's why you've got guys. It's not the Doge crap. This is serious people like Russ Vought and others that have spent years.
Why is he going to slam on Doge? It was funny. Doge was hilarious.
Thinking this whole plan through. We must strike, and we must strike now. I know all the haters hate it, but this is the age of Trump. He's totally redefined politics and power in America. And how did he do that? With no political training, because he was a populist and he was a nationalist at the very moment that if you didn't have populist nationalism stopped the managed decline of the country by the elites of the nation.
And does he need a third term in order to see that job through?
Which is, wow, it's almost like Bannon's watching the show or whatever. Yeah, Trump's a populist nationalist. He pops up at this time when the country needed a populist nationalist to grab the fucking reins. But populism and nationalism, I mean, there is authoritarianism in there. It requires necessarily something. Bannon sitting here, seize the institutions. But notice, like, the institutions that they're seizing and purging are the institutions of government. Like, they're not nationalizing private businesses or banking or anything like that. And that's what authoritarian governments do, by the way. They first take over, they'll nationalize banks. They'll start putting restrictions on firearms, etc. Limit the avenues for revolution, limit the ability to gather resources. Then the next thing they start nationalizing after the banks is anything that is development of a raw resource. You're talking about oil drilling, you're talking about mining, and then you nationalize infrastructure and you justify nationalizing, like, and when I say infrastructure, I mean like power distribution, power and water. You nationalize those, of course, because you have to ensure that they keep running. And then, of course, the government now has control over banking, the ability to generate resources and the ability to distribute resources. And they really then control the ability for their citizenry to have access to the basic needs of life. That's how nationalism becomes scary. That's it. But that's not what the Trump administration has been doing. It doesn't seem like what it is trying to do. It seems like they're going into these government entities that exist, not private ones, reclaiming them from the administrative state and gutting them out, shutting them down, making them powerless and ineffective. That's admirable. I'll take that all day.
Well, he's going to get a third term. So Trump 28, Trump is going to be president in 28, and people just ought to get accommodated with that.
So what about the 22nd Amendment?
There's many different alternatives. At the appropriate time, we'll lay out what the plan is, but there's a plan, and President.
Okay. There really aren't. I've heard the thing where, he's going to be vice president and then he can get back in. Nope. Can't be vice president if you cannot assume the reins of president. Can't do it. It's in there. Not quite sure what other one he's going to be. Like, I mean, we could just, one way to do it is to pass an amendment, right? To amend the Constitution to remove the 22nd Amendment or to modify it and get rid of the term limits of the president. We'll see. We'll see. I think what Bannon's doing here is laying out this a red herring, so to speak. It's to put people on the scent of this Trump third presidency when I don't think they have any real desire to do that. Oh, we got good logic. Rating the stream over on Rumble. Thank you. Probably rating the stream on YouTube as well. How you doing, Joe? Hope you're around. Hope you're doing well. I tried to call you the other day, but it was early in the morning. So let me know when you're available, bud. Would love to talk sometime soon. Starch Manning says, nah, he's serious. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. There's not a peaceful, easy avenue to a third term president. Like the proposition of electing Trump to a third term is almost impossible because ignore whether or not you could actually get someone in past in an end run around the 22nd Amendment. The conventional wisdom is that you can't. The conventional wisdom is that you wouldn't be able to have this person running for the presidency. And if you're going to turn off so many voters, they're going to say, this isn't serious. This isn't real. You're going to run into issues. Also, getting on a ballot is part of, like, that's controlled by the states. The states won't put a third term president on the ballot. So how are you going to do it? How are you going to vote him in? You can't get him on the ballot to vote him in. You're going to have a write-in president? People aren't going to do that.
Trump will be the president in 28. We had longer odds in 16 and longer odds in 24 than we got in 28. And President Trump.
Yeah, except for again, you're talking about Trump's like notoriety and popularity and everything, but that all presumes his ability to be involved in the election, which again, with the states having control over what goes on the ballots state by state, you're not going to get him on the ballot. So how are you going to get him in? How are you going to leverage that?
Will be the president of the United States, and the country needs him to be president of the United States. We have to finish what we started. And the way we finish it through Trump. Trump is a vehicle. I know this will drive you guys crazy, but he's a vehicle of divine providence. He's an instrument. He's very imperfect. He's not churchy, not particularly religious.
Not very churchy. My small hands, they send lots of prayers. Look, authoritarianism has changed the way that the U.S. government works, and then dragged the rest of us along in the past. And so it's not like insane to think that Trump would have some maneuver to try and do it. I mean, fuck's sake, Lincoln deployed soldiers and an entire army inside the borders of the United States. He also jailed journalists that were opposed to the Civil War or spoke out against his administration. Huge violations. You can't do those things, but he did them because he needed to. The trick is, Lincoln gave power back after using it. But what Lincoln did was, in a lot of ways, an abuse of authority. It was an abuse of power, and his critics were silenced by law. So yeah, I mean, if Trump finds a sufficient crisis to latch onto, he could try and change the law, try and change the way the Constitution works, and then drag the country, into that way of thinking, away from the 22nd Amendment. Find an arguable loophole, exploit it during the crisis, and then try to make it permanent after. That's certainly possible. That's a reasonable way that it's done. It's happened throughout history. In any government, crisis becomes the vehicle for immediate non-democratic change. Sure. It doesn't mean it'll be successful. And the hurdles that he's talking about popularity and their odds of winning. But again, right now, how do you get on the ballot? So what you have to do is you have to have something disruptive come up during the election, something to prevent the exchange of power. And what would be interesting there is, of course, if they had done a couple test runs on counting the electoral votes and the Electoral College. And if they can get the Electoral College, here's your third term Trump, right? If you can get the Electoral College into a stalemate, into a stagnant position, then Trump maintains power during the process of selecting the next president, which then somehow takes 4 years to resolve. So he's in for a third term. And no one's mad because there's an economic crisis, a military crisis of some sort going on that caused the disruption, or that contributed to the disruption in the first place. And, that's the only way I can see getting a third term, but that's highly unlawful to do so. And it's exploitative of the process. And we'd all have to ask the question of, like, how much did you guys put your fingers on the scale of whatever's going on to make this happen, to bring this about? And the other question will be, if that's true, does anybody care? Who knows? Baldonaut says, why are you dressing like Ted Bundy? Scared for April. You don't have to be scared for April. She's not anywhere around me. Don't worry about it. Tactico says, apparently YouTube thinks my texts are too spicy. Lol. Who doesn't? Also says, the no K protests are laughable, upset about something that isn't. And then he says, floating a Trump third term is just to keep Democrats upset and off keel, which isn't hard these days. TDS is exceptionally strong amongst leftists. Lol. And that's what I think is going on. I think Bannon here is giving them something to fear, because if they have something to fear, they have, and especially if it looks irrational, his floating this thing, well, we've got a plan to get Trump into a third term. It should be dismissed out of hand, because you should go, yeah, good luck. And instead, the people are engaging the idea of a third term of Trump, and they're gonna re-about it, and that's gonna give Trump the ability to enact his policy.
Religious, but he's an instrument of divine will, and you could tell this of how he's pulled this off. We need him for at least one more term, right? And he'll get that in 28.
You're not driving me crazy. I'm trying to understand the coherence of the things you've just told me in the last few minutes. On the one hand, you've said the Constitution is fit for purpose.
By the way, no matter how much you like Trump or Bannon or any of these people, always be wary of those who attempt to utilize religion as part of their political power grab strategy. Don't ever mistake me liking Trump and laughing about what he does for anything less than wariness and fear over the power he has and what he can do. I'm just glad he hasn't really done it. He's had a lot of opportunity, but he hasn't really done it. But like anyone who's willing to use Christianity or any other faith to implement their political agenda is to be listened to with some apprehension. Damn it. Thirsty boy today. A serious cat 5000 says, what if Trump resigns before January 20th, 2026? I have to think about that. I think what you're going for is the idea that if he spends less than 2 years in office, that he could then effectively he could grab a third term. So he would resign, JD Vance would take over, and then he'd run again in 2028 and come back triumphantly. I'm rusty on the exact scope of the 22nd Amendment. But if I'm not mistaken, the only way that the 2-year term or the slightly less than 2-year term works out is if a vice president assumes office, the office of the presidency due to the succession, that they can get up to 2 years of a term and then be elected for 2 more. I don't think it works if they resign. Trump has already had 2 elections. He was elected twice. And I think that's a problem in regards to the 22nd Amendment. But I'm rusty on it. It's an interesting question.
Secondly, you've said that President Trump needs another term, even though the 22nd Amendment makes pretty clear that he cannot have another term.
Why does it make that clear?
Because he's in his 2nd term already.
At some point in time, we will make sure we go through, Zanny, and define all those terms.
But even if
you're gonna redefine what a term is, you're gonna try and but again, I think what he's doing is just setting up a red herring. And this is why it's coming from Bannon. It doesn't have to come from Trump. Trump can go, Steve really believes in us. He believes we have a divine will, and God bless him. But he's not correct. But they're crazy enough to believe him. I think that he's the messenger that can be insane so that Trump doesn't have to. Kate says Trump can be VP or a cabinet member, and his support will determine the nominee for the president. Trump can't be VP. If you can't be president, you cannot be vice president. That's come up in other ways too. Someone who's 30, for example, can't be a vice president because you have to be 35 to become the president of the United States. Unless you're talking about changing the Constitution, the requirements of the presidency are pretty straightforward. They're right there, and there's no law that can impact them.
If you find a way to undermine you will be undermining the spirit of that amendment, even if you find some way around it. And to those
Can the American people, if the American people, with the mechanisms we have, put Trump back in office, are the American people tearing up the Constitution? Would that be tearing up?
Well,
would the American?
Yes. Because we do not live in a democracy. The Constitution establishes a constitutional republic. So yes, if the American people somehow tried to put Trump back in office, that would be a tearing up of the Constitution. It would be ignoring the legal process by which a president is selected and the restrictions on that president, the executive branch restrictions that exist within the document. Yes, it would be. Now, you can say that the people can, and of course they could instead call a constitutional convention and change the 22nd Amendment to allow for a 3rd or 4th term, or even to they could call a constitutional convention and have a 28th or 29th, whichever one it is, 28th or 29th amendment that simply says that Donald Trump alone can be elected for as many terms as necessary for him to save the country. Like, they could do that. But until they do, yeah, if there was something, but again, and this is why I think it's a red herring, the practicality of getting Trump back into office. Just how do you do it? How do you, like, because Ohio's not going to put him on the ballot. Neither is Minnesota, California, Nevada. Like, none of these places will put him on the ballot because it goes against their own laws and their own constitutions, their own congressional edicts. And you won't have the ability to get the people to the mechanism of electing Trump to a third term. Bannon's not retarded. He knows this.
American people be going against the spirit of the Constitution, ma'am?
I think yes, actually, because I think what you will end up with
So you're
is
saying the
a
American people-
populist justification for a quasi-dictatorship.
That's not true at all. Trump
That's
works
what it sounds like.
It's not.
No, it's getting elected for a third term isn't a quasi dictatorship. Like, it's not even close. And this is one of those things that fucking foreign commentators do this all the time. We have term limits on our president. We do. They get 2 terms. That's our rule, though. And you can fuck off about it. We put that restriction on ourselves. You guys didn't do that. You guys didn't help us. And tons of countries don't have term limits on their, on their prime administrator. They don't have that. Their head executive. We do. Don't come in here acting like a, God, now they got me arguing the premise. Don't come in here acting like a third term is the be all end all of everything. The second term was almost arbitrary, how they like, 2 terms is enough. But a third term isn't the end of the country. It isn't the end of liberty or freedom. In fact, like, most places don't have those term limits. We put that on ourselves, and we could fucking change it if we want. I'm not saying we should. I like term limits. I want more term limits.
Trump is a dictatorship. Did you just see the compromises he had to make on the big, beautiful bill? You see the compromises he has to do on everything, on accommodating Zelensky, on what President Trump. President Trump is nothing but a series of negotiations to kind of keep this thing rolling forward, where he's having trade-offs all the time.
Steve, you've just spent the last 20 minutes telling me we have to smash the other side. There's no room for debate. There's no room for compromise.
It's because the other side is poison. Poison requires antidote. There's no discussion. And notice it's MAGA versus non-MAGA. Like, I guess it's nationalism versus not. But the other side is poison, at least from the perspective of, Bannon and the MAGA inner circle. I hate the fucking word. Like, I hate saying MAGA. I hate it. I hate it a lot. But that being said, yeah, there's no compromising with poison. Quote Ayn Rand. It's really simple. You do have to smash the other side. And the other side has wanted to smash all of us forever. And they've been doing it. 100-year plans in how to eliminate their political opposition. They did it through the education system. They put administrators, they put socialists into every administrative position across every institution. What's crazy is that what Bannon's talking about, he's like, yeah, we have to take back these institutions. We have to gut them out and blah, blah, blah. That's what they did. They just took them he's saying we got to take them back. And they're acting like this is insane. Like, oh, you can't do this. It's like, they did it. They did this. Let's see. Kate says the partial term to which a VP succeeds is an exception. Look at LBJ. His partial term did not disqualify him from running twice more. His partial term did not disqualify him from running twice more. I don't know why that's on there twice. Yeah, but that all has to do with VP succession. Trump isn't VP. He's not succeeding another president. Tactico says, good point on term limits. Putin is now the premier statesman who's been in office longer. Putin. Mike Hunt says, when Ireland was called Tiernan Og, a king's term was 7 years. Then he was put to death to prevent tyranny. See, yes, that's what I said the other day. Term limits. I'm an extremist. Term limit extremist. You serve your terms. We pick out the limits. And if you serve all of them, you have to kill yourself. Get out. My spirit to yours says, I heard Rogan say the other day that Trump should run for governor of California when his term is up. That would be fun to watch. That would be fun. Like, that'd be funny to see that. Kate says, Nick is correct. Started with Wilson. There you go. Thank you, Kate. Anytime you can always talk dirty to me. Nick is correct. Oh, yeah.
We must smash them. And now you're telling me this is a negotiation. I mean, that's
no.
I guess that's why
on his
it seems to me some kind
policy.
of tension
First
there.
off, the only way President Trump wins in 2028 and continues to stay in office is by the will of the American people. Okay? And the will of the American people.
Look at these two. Look at his fucking face. This guy is livid. Jeez. Calm down there. I mean, he's right, of course. This is the thing. What Bannon is talking about, he's talking about a manifestation of divine will through Donald Trump. Believe it, don't believe it. I don't really care. It doesn't matter. But the only way is through the people. Like, he can't do a military coup and assume power and expect to keep it. Like, that's how you get fucking a crowd of people pulling you out of the White House and murdering you, like in the street, right? Like Gaddafi or whatever. You can't do that. That can't be the way. If there is divine will, if Trump is an implement of an intervening God, if that's the case, then yeah, the will of the people will be manifest in bringing Trump about again. But like, that's mildly insane. I like it.
Is what the Constitution embodies. And so I think we're going to be in good hands there. We need to finish what we started. And President Trump is the instrument, a providential instrument to finish this job.
A few minutes ago, you talked about populist nationalists and populist internationalists. Globalists, forgive me.
Globalists. Globalists vampires. That guy's voice is so soft. It is. A few minutes ago, you talked about populist nationalists, globalists.
Internationalist, too refined a term.
You were something of a populist globalist when you spent a lot of time in Europe building.
Not a populist globalist at all. It was all national. No, I didn't say we're not. It's not about us having engaged.
The frustration oozing out of Bannon is like when you squeeze a cheeseburger and the fucking grease comes out. Kate says, how do you rank Trump's performance, Nick? The only problem I have is it's really expensive to go to the grocery store right now. Like, it is insane. It costs a lot. Part of that is my own fault. It's my own, like, expensive taste. Like, I like beef. Beef's really expensive. I'm having to, like, retool myself to get back to just cooking, like, chicken and pork more often, because those are so cheap. But it's everywhere else. It's like, it's eggs and cheese and bread and cereal and sodas and stuff. And like, my kids are getting older. They eat more. I now have 2 teenagers. I'm about to have a 3rd teenager. It has changed the dynamic, and it's really expensive. But other than that, Trump is going in. He's taking away power from some of these institutions. I really want him to take away power from, like, the Department of Education and shit like that. We need to get the Department of Transportation a little bit. It's been too big since post World War II. It was the U.S. Department of Transportation has been the bludgeon for controlling states for quite a while. And the interstate highway system is really nice to have, but the DOT through the interstate highway system, implements control over states, coercive influence through money. And so I'd like to see him take down some of these institutions, and I'd like to see the tax code simplified and reduced. And I think there's a lot of opportunity to do it. But so far, he's making people really mad. The other thing, he seems to have negotiated peace in Israel and Gaza, which we'll see how long that lasts. But the other thing, the final thing, he has this ability to make things get done. Like they just get done. And that's good to see. We'll see how it lasts, right? Like he's got a long way to go. Vanessa says, "You look great, Nick. Your sharp sunglasses and throwback attire, keeping the ragged trolls away and bringing us Pope fans here." Well, thank you. Get used to the, dressing nice, Nick, because this is how I dress every day now. Like I don't have a casual attire typically. I'm in a button-down shirt and usually a suit coat.
The Brits arguing term limits and telling us we shouldn't have a king is ironic as all shit. How many tyrannical kings have they gone through in the last 2,000 years?
All of them. They've been through fucking all of them.
Look, we're a nation in the world. We're not isolationist. I've never said that. I'm a non-interventionist. I don't want to be in the bloodlands in Ukraine. I don't think the country should, or in the Middle East. It's a sideshow. I'm all for direct engagement with the Chinese Communist Party because we see what they're trying to do. Now, I'd like not to send troops there because there's other ways we can do that without putting people. But no, the European project, because remember, in this very room is where Nigel Farage first talked about Brexit. Before it even became a thing, we had a gathering of the beginning of the MAGA movement. This isn't like in 12, 13, 14. Nigel would come over and we'd host these huge dinners for you. And Nigel would stand up and give these talks about getting Britain's sovereignty back. And we had all the populist little, the Alternative for Deutschland and the Salvini group, the Alliance, and people in Vox. All these different people would come, but because we saw they were all fighting a common fight.
So give me a kind of scorecard, just going around Italy, France, Germany, Britain, of where these parties lie. Well, for
F, you all fucking suck. The F. How are they doing? F. They're all failing miserably. I don't know what you guys think about this, but I think Europe is starting to have to face the cold reality that their economic and cultural influence and dominance in the West is starting to erode very rapidly before them. Their countries aren't big enough. Their natural resource pools aren't big enough. When England controlled half the fucking world, they had the ability to grab resources from all over the world. They had a diversity of raw materials, and really good materials for what was at the time really important. What we're finding now is that Europe is a tiny little fucking place, right? It's this little shitty continent, tacked onto Asia, and you look at resource-rich continents like, Africa, North America, South America, and Asia, and then you go, what's Europe doing here? What do they have anymore? Like they had dominance, but they gave up all their land. They gave up the ownership of all their resource-rich, property. And those places have become independent. Those places have gained their own political their own sovereignty. And now, what do they have left? They're the lingering vestiges of an old world. And I'm sorry, but resources talk. China's louder than everybody else. And China's coming to the United States. I mean, in good ways and bad ways. And this Eurocentric sort of concept is going to fade And I think the Europeans are seeing it. I think they're seeing their potential eroding in front of them. Like, oh, we gave up everything. We gave it all up. Now we're just like, you think about what used to be the superpowers of the world, England and France. And you look at them and go, yeah, you guys fit inside of Kansas. What do you even have? And they don't have the population to, to maintain this either. They're not going to be able to keep up economically with these other countries that have 1 billion people. There's no chance. And again, the raw materials and stuff that they have to buy them currently, and they rely on their economic resources, but those are going to go away. At the end of the day, land and raw materials are worth more than any paper money.
Farage be a prime minister?
Of course he'll be prime minister. I mean, look, you have two parties that are, the Tory party's 250 years old or older. If you take Labour and Tories right now, the Reform Party is bigger than both. I think it's 36% of those two are 35%. Of course he's going to be the next prime minister.
And in
France?
If you had
France is going to be, Front National, or Front, it certainly will be. And I hope it will be Le Pen and not the younger guy. Alternative for Deutschland. If you think I'm enthusiastic about what we've accomplished here, I'm really enthusiastic about what those people have accomplished, because as hard as our fight was, they had...
Demon Slayer says, hey, Records, it's not all about GDP. Look at Saudi Arabia. Yeah, but it's about material and mineral wealth. Saudi Arabia sits on top of some of the most important oil reserves in the world. So does the US. So does Russia. Like they're not the only place that has this abundance of one of the most currently one of the most important natural resources that we have is petroleum and petroleum products, propane and propane accessories. Like that is just a reality. And so as long as petroleum is valuable, the Middle East is going to be exceedingly wealthy and exceedingly more and more influential. The fact that we've kept everybody away from the big kids table for so long is kind of impressive, but that's gonna go away. And in some cases, it's been helped along by the governments that they've had. You see France going back to nationalism, etc., that becoming more appealing. It's because the globalists, gave away French autonomy, they gave away French culture, and they gave away French resources. And again, the conquest that France had earned those resources through, is now meaningless. They're seeing that. They're watching it in real time, and they're turtling in. That's why nationalism, I think, is on the rise in Europe. You're going to see more of that as they go, oh, shit, we don't have the influence that we had. No one's going to care what they have to say.
State media suppress them. They had because it's much more concentration of power and wealth over there, they had everybody fight them. And look at everywhere from Hungary to Poland to Germany to Italy to Vox in Spain. Everywhere we're getting momentum. It's not perfect. I told people at the time, you're not going to win everything. It's a process. Just look at the critical path. Look at the event horizon. Keep your heads down and remember, you're not alone, and you're anti-fragile. As long as you don't quit, they will surrender. As long as you just keep pounding. And look at Farage. Look what he's done over his career to do this. I mean,
This is really brilliant messaging in a lot of ways, though, because the idea that your spirit and tenacity is your bulwark and shield against the onslaught of tyranny is true in some respects, but it's a return to a call to a healthy dose of jingoism, some national pride, some pride in yourself and what you do. The idea that you're working for a bigger thing and all you have to do is just keep going. I mean, it makes your shitty 9-to-5 or, it makes your factory job that you have to do, but you don't really like, it makes those things more tolerable when you're working for a higher purpose. And that higher purpose is fighting back against the people who've tried to take everything from you and control your life. It's great messaging. And to to try and foster and develop that purpose into people the way Bannon is doing, again, it gives drive, it gives it puts a wax seal of approval on the actions that are otherwise mundane. But those actions need to happen to keep the country functioning. And it's harkens back to what Bannon is saying. It's not revolution. It's not evolution. It is going back to what made America great in the first place. And the fact was that people were self-directed. They had ownership of their own resources, and they had the ability to define their own future, at least in theory. And we've been trying to take that away as much as possible and to move towards these pseudo caste systems where there is no economic mobility, because economic mobility is offensive to people, I guess. We're moving away from that, though. We're moving back towards the idea that what you do matters, even if it seems mundane. You should take pride in it. This is also biblical, right? Like in all things, do all things to the glory of God, or whatever. I don't remember the exact verse, but the idea is that you put your heart and soul into everything that you do because it brings about glory to the higher power. Here, the higher power is the ideation that is America, that is freedom, that is liberty, and getting those principles back is important, because we've lost them to jaded individuals like me. When I go, liberty is gone, Bannon's the guy saying, no, you just got to stick with it. Just stick with it, buddy. Come on, you can do it.
Hey, Nick, when will we see an Obama voice, a Biden voice, and especially a Trump voice? They are the most public of figures. Why doesn't Super Tip have access to their voice clips yet?
Also, do you love black people?
I do love black people. I think Super Tips has specifically avoided major political figures for whatever reason. I'm not sure. I could do impressions of them and have them made. That would probably work. But the actual voices they've held off on, I don't know. Not my decision. Hopefully one day there will be more decision making on my end. Kate says Western Europe has been invaded by incompatible aliens and sadly may end up in hand-to-hand war to save their countries. Yeah, and not just to save their countries, but to save their homes. Right? Like, that's the really scary thing, in my opinion, with the forced immigration that happened in Europe, is like, it won't just be to save the country. It's going to be to save your streets, your churches, your stores, your businesses, and eventually your homes. Jim tells you, says, what's up, bro? Hoping to get to stream with you soon. So glad you're getting back in the swing of streaming. That, guys, that's Jim Tells You on YouTube. You should check him out. He's a great dude, doing good stuff over there. Art the Clown says, our strength was never in diversity. It was in the individual places that held their sovereignty. It's the entire purpose of travel, going to places with other cultures. Yeah, I don't know where diversity is our strength has ever been true. I think diversity is just a fact. It's a fact that you deal with, and then you get good and bad from it, right? Like, without diversity, Minnesota's food would somehow be worse. Hard to imagine.
Brought British sovereignty back, and now he's going to be the prime minister one day. Now, Nigel's come our way. Nigel forever would never talk about mass deportations. He's now talking about that. I think we're actually helping drive some of those people to the part of the right that you actually need to be to fix the problems. This is the age of Trump, and we have to get all the squeeze out of the lemon. This is why 28 is so important. We have to finish what we started, because Trump knew in 21 that they were going to try to bankrupt him. They're going to try to destroy his family. They're going to try to put him in jail, and they're going to try to assassinate him. I would talk to him about this. He understood that. He has more moral courage than any political person we've had, I believe, since Abraham Lincoln. If you look at Trump over the arc of history, what he's accomplished and what he's been able to lead us to, I mean, he's equivalent of Moses. I mean, he has led our people back.
The invocation again of faith and religious icons does bother me quite a bit. I don't want it anywhere near government. But like, he's not entirely wrong here. Trump is something revolutionary. Trump is has accomplished more than he gets credit for. And it's kind of wild to think that present history will look on him with such disfavor. And you wonder how things are going to look 20 and 30 years from now, when the ripple effects of Trump's policies, negotiations, and tenacity, when those are hitting the shore, right? We'll see.
Right now to the bank of the promised land to make sure that we're very close to actually redoing this, making the changes that have to be made to save our country and to return America to her greatness, make America great again.
So I don't know about you, Ed, but I think I don't agree with a lot of what you've said, but I have a much better understanding of what it is you're trying to do.
All right, we're not gonna watch the full interview. The full interview is like 40 minutes. And just going through the 13 took quite a bit of time. But that was good. That was good. Who was it? Hyper whatever. Who suggested that? Hyperdimensionalist. Thank you very much for suggesting that. That was a good watch. Yeah, I don't know. Like, there's some ways that they're talking about a third term. Okay, here we go. This is back to this. God, look at this. Whoa, it's so big. No, oh God. You can hear this, like you can feel the smugness coming out from under her bangs. Ugh. This is interesting. Okay, we've got constitutional scholar and former Harvard professor Lawrence Tribe has warned people against assuming that the 22nd Amendment and the 12th, which outlines how the president and vice president are elected, completely protects against the third term. Quote, anyone discounting a third Trump term per the 22nd Amendment plus the 12th Amendment is thinking magically, he wrote on X in March. The 22nd doesn't bar serving a third term, only being elected 3 times. The 12th doesn't bar running for VP unless ineligible to serve as president. But Trump isn't ineligible. QED. He would be ineligible. I mean, I guess the idea is that eligibility is set by the Constitution originally in Article 2. And so therefore, as he will remain above 35 years old and a resident, et cetera, then he would be eligible still and could run. No, I'm sorry. Like that's, I don't agree with that. And again, the main problem that you've got is getting him on the ballots.
What did she just say? How does a Brit have a better understanding of American politics than an American? Is she senile?
Well, I mean, yeah. Dude, she looked like a deflated biscuit. Okay. That aside, I had a fun story. I think. I don't know. I found it funny. Have you guys seen have you seen this? Fuck off. Oh my God. It opened my tab on the wrong window. Have you seen this Maine Democrat Senator Graham Plattner? This my voice is too high pitched. Oh, sorry. Oh, in AI. Yeah. Well, it depends on where I don't know where they sampled the AI from. It might have been while I was on a bunch of cocaine. So here we go. I don't know if you guys saw this. I saw this the other day and I was laughing because it's fucking insane. Maine Democratic Senate candidate Graham Plattner says he covered up tattoo that resembles Nazi symbol. All right. So Maine Democratic Senate hopeful Graham Plattner said Wednesday that a tattoo on his chest has been altered to no longer reflect an image widely recognized as a Nazi symbol. The first time political candidate said he got the skull and crossbones tattoo in 2007 when he was in his 20s and in the Marine Corps. Look, I was a jarhead. It happened during a night of drinking while he was on leave in Croatia. He said, adding he was unaware until recently that the image has been associated with Nazi police. I don't believe this for a fucking second. Do you guys? Plattner, in an Associated Press interview, said that while his campaign initially said he would remove the tattoo, he chose to cover it up with another tattoo due to the limited options where he lives in rural Maine. Now, this is true. Laser tattoo removal isn't a one-time thing. It's not quick. Like you go in for multiple sessions and it takes a while to fully remove a tattoo. So that's not that crazy. I wonder, let's see what his, let's look at this man's chest. Plattner tattoo. Wait. So this is okay. Let's take a peek here. Sorry. This is for you. Ladies, try and keep your panties on. Here we go. So this is his new how zoomed in are we? Oh, there we go. This is his new one. This is the cover up, I guess. Little nipple action here. He's seats are soaking right now. But I'm trying to find what's the original? I want to see his skull and crossbones Nazi tattoo that he had. Wait, was it this? Okay, hold on. I think we got it here. This is from Slate. I wonder if I think this is what it's supposed to be, or what it was, and now it's been changed into a fucking turtle or whatever. Like, what is happening here? I don't even I can't figure out what this is supposed to be. But now, well, it was this originally, and now it's the other thing, I guess. But I love it. He's like, I had no idea that was a Nazi thing. Like, what are you talking about? Okay, sure, I believe you. Where do we go? Back to this. Check locals. Okay. Oh, you found the early version. Okay, here we go. Thank you. Yeah, that's right. Here's the early version of it. Yeah, that was him before he grew his hair out. You know, that's correct. It's often associated with Nazis. It's really weird. Let's see. Going to a tattoo removal place is going to take a while. He said, I wanted this thing off my body. And I love how people do this, right? Like politicians, especially, like, oh, I found out this is bad. I needed to get it off right away. I couldn't. It was basically burning a hole in me. The initial tattoo image resembled a specific symbol of Hitler's paramilitary Schutzstaffel, or SS, which was responsible for the systematic murders of millions of Jews. Was it millions? And others in Europe during World War II. Plattner didn't offer details about the new tattoo. Where are the teeth? Just kidding. This is jokes. new tattoo when he spoke to AP, but he later posted a video on X in which he showed off the updated version. Oh, we gotta watch that, right? I want to see him show off. Oh God. Oh man. And he's got an explanation for it too. This is always great. You always want to, this is the video you want to be doing. Years ago, I got a skull and crossbones tattoo with my buddies in the Marine Corps. You should have known they were trolling you. Oh yeah, get that. That'll be fine. Don't worry. It's not a Nazi thing at all. What? I was appalled to learn it closely resembled a Nazi symbol. I altered it yesterday into something that isn't deeply offensive to my core beliefs. I'm very sorry to all of you who had to contemplate a symbol of hate over the past 48 hours. Like, I hope he's trolling with that. Because that's the gayest thing you can fucking write. Here we go.
Hey everyone, Graham Plattner here. I want to talk to you about something. In 2007,
why does he sounds like Shane Gillis after he smoked a cigar or two or three. Hey guys, Graham Plattner here. What a fucking disaster this has to be for his candidacy.
when I was a young infantry sergeant in the Marine Corps, myself and some machine gunners I served in Fallujah and Ramadi with were on our third deployment.
Learn English. Myself and some third-party machine gunners that I served with, like, holy shit, like that sentence was a mess.
We were in a naval vessel and we pulled in for a Liberty port in Split, Croatia. We went ashore to do the thing that young Marines do, which tends to be
drink liquor and fuck bitches. Give me some of that throat.
carousing and sometimes getting tattoos.
Oh my
We
God.
wanted to get something that represented our jobs.
We wanted to get something that represented our jobs. So we got the symbol of murdering Jews. Not good. Not a win.
Our service fighting in Fallujah and Ramadi as machine gunners. We went ashore, we found a tattoo parlor after a fair amount of heavy carousing, and we found a tattoo.
Wait, I didn't want that.
On the wall,
some heavy carousing. What an awkward statement this guy is making.
Piece of flash that looked like a terrifying skull and crossbones.
Horrifying.
We thought it looked cool.
We thought Nazi iconography was cool. Yeah, like a lot of people do and did and have. The funny thing is like that the Croatian place is like, oh yeah, we'll put this on you.
And so we got it. I have had this tattoo for the last 18 years. I re-enlisted into the United States Army with this tattoo where I was.
Yeah, they didn't. They're like, well, what I like. Well, he knows he's into killing. Like, that's good.
Screened for hate and gang-related tattoos. I worked for the State Department as a contractor where I got a full physical, which included screening my tattoos.
And a hand job.
I've gone through life with this thing, taking my shirt off, having photographs taken, videos taken.
I'm sorry. These statements always produce like weird results, right? Like I've been doing this forever, having my shirt off, having photographs taken, having videos taken, erotic ones with ice dripping down my pectorals.
I've been very, very open in my life with the fact I had a skull and crossbones on my chest because that.
In fact, every church and synagogue he went to, he made sure and showed them. He's like, look, I got this on my chest. You want to see? Want to see? It's not a hate symbol. That's not it. I didn't know it was a hate symbol, but I'm very open about it. Like I wanted to let everybody know that I have this tattoo, even though I didn't know it was bad. And I love the defense of it. And don't get me wrong, like I don't care. I don't care that he had this tattoo at all. I just think it's funny. But his defensive is like, no, we just thought it was awesome to like talk about killing other people. Not Jews though. Like, whoa, that was a bad one.
That's what I thought it was. It's come to my attention that it has a stark resemblance to a symbol that is used by neo-Nazis. And I want to say,
wait, by neo-Nazis? Why? I thought it was used by the original ones. What about the OG ones? The article is talking about it being representative of the Schustaffel, not Not neo-Nazis, brother. The real, like the original ones.
That was not the intent at all. And the idea that I've been going around with something like that utterly horrifies me. I know that symbols like,
bro, if it's neo-Nazis adopting the symbol, then you going around with it doesn't matter because they adopted the symbol recently. You've had this thing for 18 years. But was it neo-Nazis or OG Nazis? I think that matters like a little bit. But also, like, I don't care.
like this can be incredibly damaging to people. And the idea that I've had it all these years and it could have been read like that is incredibly troubling. I have lived.
Not could have been read like that, is just like that. It's so troubling. Everything's passive. Nothing's his fault. Doesn't matter. Like, and what do you say? On one hand, what do you say? On the other hand, you go, oh yeah, like I got this tattoo and I didn't think anything of it because it was just about killing people as a machine gunner, which is kind of cool and based. But you know, apparently I don't know, it's a Nazi thing and now you guys care.
Lived a life dedicated to anti-fascism, anti-racism, and anti-Nazism. I think that racism and anti-Semitism are a long scourge on our society and a long scourge on our politics. And I think it has no place in our world. For that reason.
Yeah, all of us. Who fucking cares? Shut up. Oh my God. What did Jim, what did you send me? Where did it? Oh. Check the timeline. You're talking about the, yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute, maybe. I'm back to this guy. I'm still stuck on here, Jim. Jim, stop distracting me.
Reason I have gone and gotten it covered up. Last night, I went to a tattoo parlor and I got this to cover up the skull and crossbones. It's a Celtic knot with some imagery around.
Man, if you're going to make that, like, suck in as hard as you can. God. Oh, man. Because this is national news. Like, whew.
Dogs, because
he should have given up dairy for 3 days before he did this.
My wife Amy and I have two wonderful dogs that we love a lot. This far more represents who I am now than even the skull and crossbones.
Wait, so it's a dog now? That doesn't look like. I don't see the dog. Am I an idiot? Hold on. Oh, I get it. Okay. Kinda. Like here's like the dog's head and some weird looking fucking reindeer legs coming out of it. These legs make more sense. What is up with the cake? Like, what is this? I don't. All right. Let's see what else he says about this.
Did, which I thought that it was. This has come up.
Wait, what did you?
Because the establishment is trying to throw everything.
The
it can.
establishment.
I have two wonderful dogs in our world. For that reason, I have gone and gotten it covered up. Last night, I went to a.
I mean, you gotta love this, right? Like this guy's like, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna record a video that everybody's gonna watch, and I'm gonna lift up my shirt and show it, and I'm gonna have my cool Columbia underwear sitting at the top. This is, dude, where's something with a neutral band? Like, don't put branding on it. I don't know. I just don't get it. Okay, here we go.
Tattoo parlor, and I got this to cover up the skull and crossbones. It's a Celtic knot with some imagery around dogs because my wife Amy and I have two wonderful dogs that we love a lot. This far more represents who I am now than even the skull and crossbones did, which I thought that it was.
What was that sentence again? This far more represents who I am now than even the skull and crossbones did. So if we first break that down, That means that the skull and crossbones did represent you, which we've already established that it's Nazi iconography. So that's kind of a weird problem. But God, hold on. Listen to this fucking sentence again.
Because my wife Amy and I have two wonderful dogs that we love a lot. This far more represents who I am now than even the skull and crossbones did, which I thought that it was.
Which I thought that it was. What does he mean? Like, I guess he means he thought it represented him, but which I thought it was. This represents me better than that did, but this is what I thought it was. What a fucking weird sentence.
This has come up because the establishment is trying to throw everything it can at me. It is terrified of what we are trying to build here. Every second we spend talking about a tattoo I got in the Marine Corps is a second we don't talk about Medicare for all.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, he's 100% right. That guy doesn't sound establishment at all, because the establishment is opposed to Medicare for all and is much more concerned with the tattoo. Well, you can't be anti-establishment while espousing a desire to have establishment policy implemented at every level. What are we fucking talking about?
It's a second that we don't talk about raising taxes on the wealthy. It's a second we're not talking about the material struggles of Mainers as they try to scrape through a system that at its core is trying to rob them.
You want to rob them to have Medicare for all. You have to rob everyone to pay for Medicare for everyone. What the fuck? Like, these people are, there's no meaning anymore. It's gone. This idea that that authoritarianism is coming and is dangerous. And they're like, we can't have authoritarianism. We need medical care for everybody through government. We can't have authoritarianism. That'd be crazy. We need government schools. It's like, wait, what? How does this happen? How do we get so far divorced from what these terms mean? They make language meaningless. Cars and Dimension says, what's with the Ray Charles / Stevie Wonder look? I'm blind. Thanks for being offensive.
And that's why tonight, I'm just going back right out on the road. We're holding a town hall in Ogunquit, where much like I've been doing for the past month, going around the state of Maine, making myself accessible to Mainers in their communities so I can listen to them. I can hear about what it is they need to
Can you hear them over how loud your Nazi tattoo is?
Change in our political system. And that is what I'm going to continue dedicating my time to. Thank you all very much. And I really appreciate your support through all of this. I will say, it is deeply hard for me personally.
Deeply hard. It's deeply hard. Well, that's hot. What's up? Speaking of that, Helen Blazes, how are you doing? How are you? Almost 3 years here, 31 months a member. Thank you.
But all the outpouring of support telling me to stick with it, telling me that this doesn't matter, telling me that this means that the system is scared, it means the world.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, the system is terrified of a guy who's too retarded to see Nazi iconography tattooed on himself. Like, former Marine, bud. You're a former Marine. You're not terrifying anymore. Like you're now a politician in Maine who's complaining about the tattoo you got 18 years ago that no one gives a shit about. You fell right into it. It's like, oh, I got to get this covered up. I got to get. No, you don't. You didn't have to cover anything up. People be like, oh, he has a Nazi tattoo on his chest. Be like, yeah, you should see the one I got with Ed Norton. It's great.
World to me. And I want to say thank you to all of you who have done so.
All right. How embarrassing. And that's coming from me. Like some of these people and how they handle their crises is just it's wild. And what constitutes a crisis? Like, I got this tattoo. Like you're making news stories out of this stuff. Dude, ignore it. Not important. And as of now, we still have no proof Charlie Kirk didn't have the same tattoo. Pizza's 33. Oh my God. Here we go. Well, we'll finish up this story and then we'll probably be done for the night because it's really late. Like I said, I have early court tomorrow all day. Hero years ago, blah, 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 blah. I altered it yesterday. The tattoo revelation closely follows the discovery of a series of controversial online statements. On Reddit, including one in which he dismissed sexual assault in the military. Oh no. Oh no. Here we go. This guy's in crisis. He's been on Reddit. No wonder he's a Democrat. Here we go. Discovery of Reddit postings. If I'm not big, like I'm not a big dude or whatever, but if I was a former Marine, I would, at least he stayed relatively trim, but I would want to look better than this. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Old online comments made by a U.S. Senate candidate in Maine, in which the candidate appeared to endorse political violence. No. Dismiss rape in the military. No. And criticize both police officers and rural America were wrong, but not disqualifying from office the national chair of the Democratic Party said. It's like, they're like, actually, no, they're right in line with our ideas. Like this is exactly what we think. Graham Plattner is running for a U.S. Senate seat in Maine that has been held by Republican Susan Collins since 1997. He faces a crowded field for the nomination that also includes Democratic Maine Governor Janet Mills, who announced her candidacy last week. CNN first reported last week on old Reddit posts made by Plattner that he had deleted since entering the Senate race, and several media outlets followed, revealing separate controversial posts. The posts were made between 2013 to 2021. This man was hateful for this long? 8 years of going on Reddit? Oh, God, how's he alive? Democratic National Chair Ken Martin said Sunday during an appearance on CNN that he does not think the posts were disqualifying, but he did say they were not right and offensive, and he was glad Plattner apologized for them. Oh, please, where are they? They're indefensible, they're hurtful, and they're offensive. Okay, please, I want to read them. Plattner has apologized for the comments in a video he posted Friday on social media. He said the posts were made after leaving the Army in 2012. Wait, I thought he was in the Marines. Adding he, quote, still had the crude humor, the dark, dark feelings, the offensive language that really was a hallmark of the infantry when I was in it. You hear that? You hear that, you Army grunts? This man is representing you with all of your offensive language and dark, dark thoughts and crude humor. I can't believe I was that way. What a fag. He also said that he was struggling then with post-traumatic stress disorder and depression. This is probably the funniest things he's ever written. He's like, no, I couldn't deal with it. It's like, bro, you made Reddit posts. You don't need an excuse. Be like, yeah, I did it. I don't really think that. Like, it was on Reddit. Who cares? I'm sorry for this. Just know that it's not reflective of at all of who I am. He's whipped. Like, this guy is owned by the party already. You must prostrate yourself and apologize for who you were at a different time than now. I don't want you to judge me on the dumbest thing I ever wrote on the internet. This is the dumbest thing. Oh my God. Everybody's got you beat. I would prefer if people could judge me on the person I am today. Well, like, fuck off. So, hey, guys, I have to do this. A while back, I was on a bunch of drugs and I wasn't who I am then. I don't want you guys to think about that. And like everything I said and did back then, oh, that was fake. That's not me. What I want you to do is judge me on the person I am today, because the person that I was, that person's not there anymore. Just so you know. Okay. Thanks. If you guys could just go ahead and get on that. If you could get on ignoring my past, please, like, and just seriously, just judge me based on now. Like, and will you stop? I mean, can you please? No. This guy, bro, you're on the internet. Like, it's forever. Our bad decisions are pinned to us like donkey tails, right? Like you You're not going to get away from this shit. In the days since his apology, Plattner has posted more of his old Reddit posts, highlighting that he spent a lot of on time encouraging other veterans to get help. God, stop. He also released additional Reddit posts showing him criticizing homophobia and misogyny in the military. I wish the military wasn't so homophobic. Like, I don't care if they're homophobic. Did they put the bullets in the bad guys? One post he shared Monday stated that he was disillusioned by rampant misogyny and weirdness in the Marines, which he also served in. Plattner is an oyster farmer making his first attempt at public office, who's running a progressive campaign with an aggressive social media presence. He has the backing of Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders, who has described Plattner as a stronger candidate for the seat than Mills. Oh, man. Where are the statements? Fuck, they don't. How do you not put the statements? Graham Plattner statements. What are they? Oh, wait. Hold on. We got another one. Imagine having to do this again.
Start with our election 2026 coverage. Democratic Senate candidate Graham Plattner is responding yet again to another controversy.
Yeah, this time it's over a tattoo he has on his chest. It's visible in a video of Plattner singing to his sister-in-law at his brother's wedding years ago, which he did release.
So wait, they found out about his Nazi tattoo because he was singing at his sister-in-law, at his sister and brother's wedding? Like, what the fuck? That's how this came about?
Last night to the National Liberal podcast, Pod Save America, the tattoo is a skull and crossbones that closely resembles the Totenkopf symbol that was worn on Nazi uniforms.
You know, he's got a mic and he's just wailing away.
In Croatia in 2007 as a young Marine when he was drunk and just picked out the image from options on the wall. Plattner.
I like how he talks about the, he's talking about the tattoo as if it were a prostitute that he hired and got pregnant in 2007 in Croatia. He's like, look, after a fine night of carousing, you know, I went and picked her out. I mean, 18 years later, fuck, that was a bad decision.
Doesn't say
it's just a young Marine back then.
Resembles a Nazi symbol, but otherwise discussed it on the podcast Monday night.
I am not a secret Nazi.
No, I'm an overt Nazi. Imagine having to do this shit again. Like, oh, God.
Actually, if you read through my Reddit comments, I think you can pretty much figure out where I stand on Nazism.
Right.
Oh, God. This is a punch a Nazi loser, right? Like, I'm going to punch a Nazi. But you didn't. You didn't. You didn't punch a Nazi, old or new. You see where I stand on Nazis in my Reddit posts. If you look at my Reddit posts, tell me you're gay without telling me.
And anti-Semitism and racism in general. I would say a lifelong opponent.
Now, Plattner also talked about Reddit posts.
But wait, his other Reddit posts were all of those things that he just said he was a lifelong opponent of.
Surfaced on Friday that includes a response to a post about underwear designed to prevent sexual assault, in which he wrote, people should, quote, take some responsibility for themselves and not get so, quote, effed up they wind up having sex with someone they don't mean to, end quote.
So people are proposing, rape preventative undergarments, which I don't know, there are different places that are military visits, and whatever your position on like women in the military may be, the reality is that they're there. And so then while they're there, you definitely need to take care of them. In some places, rape is a little bit more prevalent than others, including, on some military bases, it can be a real problem, but it can also be a problem from if you're occupying in a different country. Imagine being a female soldier in the Middle East. You have to be terrified of getting captured with what they'll do to you. So, just in general though, someone proposes some, rape preventative and this guy's like, I've been anti-misogyny forever. He's like, well, some of these bitches need to take some responsibility. Don't fuck with regret.
Quote. Now, Plattner says at the time that he made those comments, he had very little interaction with women in the service. He says his view has since changed on that very quickly.
Oh,
as he met
okay.
more female veterans.
Yeah, his views changed when it became politically expedient to do so.
Very soon after, actually, this time frame, when I started going to college, I became very close friends with a number of vets, female vets at George Washington, and
Yeah, me too.
all of them had a story. And I very quickly changed my tune.
Did you tell them maybe they shouldn't have gotten so drunk, you dumb bitches? Did you say that? Like, you should have just said that to their face instead of saying it on Reddit, you fucking coward. Can you imagine being this, like, this guy's in the army and in the Marines? He's this much of a pussy that he's like, he says this, oh, yeah, maybe they shouldn't get so fucked up. Then he's confronted by women. They're like, and no, actually, all of us have a rape story, every single one. And he's like, oh, why didn't you just tell them they were fucking stupid then? Why didn't you do that? No conviction.
I think you'll find even not that much later in my Reddit history, me acknowledging that.
The host.
I would never want to be on a political campaign and be like, you got to look at my Reddit history. Like, you just look at my Reddit history and you'll see. Like, if you just check that out, I got a lot of karma, like a lot of updudes.
Social press Plattner on why he asked on Reddit, quote, why don't black people tip? Plattner says he was
Why don't black people tip? Arian the vegetarian says, I sent a tip in locals and it meant to go with my message above it. You can, but don't have to read the exact words out loud. Commentary. It's definitely thumbs up. Oh, sorry. Yes. I have this window in a bad spot. So my locals wasn't showing up. I apologize. Here we go. Let's see. Ari says, Nick, remember how I was your sister in Christ who one told you on number of kids and asked prayer for my son wasting his quarterback chance. God answered. He came home and is top varsity player. Now I need prayer again. He's run away from Texas mid-senior year, college credits and recruiters, back to UT to his child sex offender father, who's violating parole and brainwashed him. I'm going to the sheriff and JP tomorrow. Then the task force and Tyler. Please pray they don't get the grooming. Didn't start on Monday. Of course. All right. Ari, we will pray for your son for a peaceful return, for protection from any harm that may come to him. May God's intervening hand build a wall of sanctuary and safety around him. And may the experience, wisdom, and hopefully swift action of the authorities assist you in getting him back safe and sound. Thank you for sending that in. Sorry to hear you're going through that. Robin said, Sage says, play Bernie Sanders' response. Bernie Sanders says, he went through a bad time in life, so he gets his SS tattoo excused, but we destroy the life of an 18-year-old who tweets a Michelle Obama meme. Yeah, it's crazy. It's insane. You know, it's all political expedience. Everything is what suits the party or the politician in the moment. All right, back to this guy.
Legitimately curious if there was a cultural explanation, and soon after he says he had a conversation with a black friend about structural injustice.
Look, I have a black friend. Wait, did his black friend tell him why they don't tip? What's the advantage of having a black friend if they don't explain blackness to you? Why don't they tip? I need to know the answer.
Now, Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders, who backed Plattner over the summer, is still standing by him, telling a CNN reporter, quote, I personally think he is an excellent candidate. I'm going to support him and look forward to him becoming the next senator in the state of Maine.
Meantime, on the flip side, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer of New York says he's backing Governor Janet Mills for Senate. When asked today if he thinks the recently unearthed Plattner post should disqualify him, here's what he said.
Look, I'll let the people of Maine decide the second.
Oh,
We
thanks,
think that
Chuck.
Janet Mills is the best candidate to retire Susan Collins. She's a tested two-term governor.
Is this her? Is this little gremlin Janet Mills? God, they all look the same. All these people, they're so fucking. The people who run our country all look horrible.
And the people of Maine have an enormous amount of affection and respect for her.
Okay, I don't even know. I don't even know what's about to show up there. Death metal artist. Ah, no! Shut up! Holy crap! Look, I liked the story, and you can see this guy like fucking struggling. If you're gonna unseat an entrenched politician, let's see, how long is Susan Collins? Susan Collins is 72 years old. Which, fuck's sake. Can you? She assumed office in. Oh yeah, that said this 1997. She assumed office in 1997. This woman's been there for fucking 30 years. If you're gonna take a shot at a politician who is that deeply entrenched at that level of politic, you better not have a fucking Nazi tattoo on your chest. Like, I don't care if you have Nazi tattoos. Like, I don't give a shit if he had a swastika tattooed on him. Like, it doesn't really matter. Right? But, like, if you're taking your swing, take your swing. You better fucking land.
Take your swing.
You better fucking land the hit. And you're going up against real power, deep-seated power in this country. And the people who put her in office, the people who are interested in the committees that she's on and the power that she'll wield. You know, those people are those people are not going to let you unseat their little doll, their toy. So you have to be squeaky fucking clean. You have to be perfect. But he's not. With that, guys, I think we need to wrap up here. It has been wonderful hanging out with you guys, and I love you all very much. More streams are coming. Should be relatively regularly. I would do a members only show tonight. I would keep going. We've got some great Kurt content to go through. That being said, I need to get some sleep before this court hearing all day tomorrow. So I know Divining Rod, I know we were robbed of Dumpster Bros. Really, really frustrated about that. But with that, guys, we'll see you soon, probably tomorrow night. And I'm looking to get some daytime streams going. I've had a lot going on. I'm still involved in multiple lawsuits. The fallout from all of everything is still significant. But that said, onwards and through, my friends. Until next time, peace. Peace.
Oh, he drinks a fair bit, but you realize that it just helps get his noggin jogging along. With his glass by his side and his kids asleep tight, we'll hear some law-splaining tonight. With his microphone muted, we'll laugh at this boomer until he explains it's all part of the plan. Watch his face become redder as he becomes madder, raging at idiots from Twitter and Erlang. From the white shores of Maine to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we have now. Oh, This lady is fair, and she handles herself with the grace of one who has borne many children. As the wife of a lawman, she makes sure that he has the time and the place to provide for them there. So pour out an odd bag of bow, more of love throw, the spirits flow as the ones who get on a boat. So pour out a glass for the tea, post on Twitter as we hear Lost Planning tonight. From the white shores of Nairn to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the wrong better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we have now. Oh, the guests are all plentiful, from Dante to Drexel. They bring their perspective and spice to the mix. But the reason we're here and the one that we cheer is the one who is showcasing us his career. Shores of Nairn to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the wrong better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what